Yeah, hi everyone. Can you all hear me? Anyone please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good, good. Cool. So, let's introduce myself. Okay, so I'll take a couple of inputs from you according to that, right? We can get started. Okay, so first of all, welcome to the reactjs with Docker. Okay, so we're gonna discuss. It's a free session, guys. First of all, it's a free session. We're gonna discuss how to Dockerize the React app. Okay, it's for 2 hours of a session. Okay, so here, right, we're gonna discuss about what is React. Okay, what is Docker? So why we need a Docker? Okay, so how to do a Dockerization of a React.js? That part we're gonna discuss. Okay, so moving forward, right, we'll have a lot of interactive points. Okay, you can ask me whenever you have a questions. Okay, so let's make it more interactive. Okay, how many of you working employees here? Before that, let me give a brief about myself. Guys, I'm Venkat. Okay, so I'm into the IT industry from the last 20 years. Currently working as UI architect. I do the React.js application, Angular application, Vue.js, a lot of UI stuff I do, as well as I do some little bit of backend technologies, okay, with a Spring Boot, Node.js. So being a architect, I should aware on it. So that's how I do. As well as I'm into the teaching from the last 7 years. Okay, so I teach in multiple batches from HTML to React, okay, HTML to Angular, HTML to Vue.js, so all the stuff. Okay, so we have multiple batches planning in a pipeline. So there also we're going to discuss in detail of HTML, JavaScript, TypeScript, material UI, everything is into real time. That's what we plan the further on. But this current session, right, it's a purely on a React.js with a Docker. Okay, cool. So that's a brief. And before going forward, so can you someone tell, what is Docker, or how many of you working employees here? I see 91, the number of audience. How many of you working employees? You can unmute yourself. You can just, tell, or if you ever on a Docker, what you know about Docker. Let's make it more interactive, guys.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Kajal from Odisha. I'm working on Capgemini. Is my knowledge, after developing the app, we need to deploying our server into the environment for need to Dockerize the app.
Yes, yes. So when we're deploying our code, we need a Docker. Why we need a Docker, right? So that part we'll see.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good. So, any other one? Hope everyone is working employees here. Okay, because we're going to discuss detail about working use cases. So no problem for the fresher or who want to enter into the IT. We're going to cover, so in a real-time point of view. Okay, why we require a Docker, what is React.js, that part we'll see, then we'll go into more deeper. Cool. Right. So as per the plan, right? So what we're going to discuss? We're going to discuss what is React, okay, how it works, okay, and then we'll discuss about a Docker. Okay, so we're going to see 2 use cases today. So one is that how to Docker the static web application. Okay, static website, how to do that. Then we take a forward of the React app. Okay, first of all, what is React? Anyone from your side? What is React?
As we know, React is a library, JavaScript library.
Yes, yes. Okay. So React is what? JavaScript library. Why we need a React? Okay. So where we use it exactly? So I'll give us some glimpse about a React. First of all, right, React is developed by the Facebook. Okay. So that's one of our popular framework in a market. Why we need this framework? Nowadays, right, we are building an application which we want to develop without a reloading. Okay, without a reloading, we'd like to develop application. We have a different kind of application, static application, dynamic application, interactive. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, but this React application will make your website or web application much faster without reloading, as well as dynamic look and feel. Dynamic look and feel, which will give you. Let's see one example. Okay, Flipkart. Okay, Flipkart is one of application which is built on top of what? React. Okay, if you see the Flipkart, right, whenever you click on anything, so do you think it is getting reloaded?
No.
It's not getting reloaded. So whenever I click on, right, it's loading faster. Okay, and in seconds it is getting loaded. So that's what we can achieve with React. Okay, in a market, right, we have many of our frameworks. It can be Angular, it can be Vue.js. Okay, but React is much faster than these two. In a market, we have a three popular framework or popular libraries: Angular, React, and Vue. In all of these three also, in present in IT industry, most of the people or most of the developers are using what? React, because the fast performance. Okay, in a React, right, it uses the virtual DOM concept. What is that? Virtual DOM. Okay, with the help of this virtual DOM, right, your application is much faster comparing to any other library. Okay, guys, are you getting some background noise from my side? Or if someone is Amul, can you please mute? Yeah. Is it fine now? I muted everyone. So what is React? So React is one of a library which is developed by Facebook, which internally follows a virtual DOM mechanism. So with the help of that, we can develop an application, okay, which is much faster. Okay, that is what some brief about React. So as well as, right, so how do you install a React app? How do you start your application? Okay, yes. So we'll see now. So how to start an application? Okay, and these are the some of the key features. So first of all, right, we'll install the React app. Okay, then we'll see how to do that. Okay, so to install a React app, right, so by default React provides one library or one npm module called CRA, create React app. Okay, create React app. So to install CRA or to run a React application, right, we need a what? Node.js in our local. We need a Node.js in our local. What are the prerequisites? What are the prerequisites to learn React? We require to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and good to have TypeScript. Good to have a TypeScript knowledge. Okay, to run a React app, what we require? We require a Node.js and good to have a what? Git also. Good to have a Git also. These are the so two things which we require to learn. To start our React app. Okay, so in my local, right, I already installed a Node.js. So how can I test? You can go to the command prompt and simply say node-v. Node-v. So how to test whether the Node.js is installed or not? You just go to the command prompt and just do a node-v. If you not install, how can you install? So go to the nodejs.org. Go to the nodejs.org. You can download whichever the latest version. Okay, and you can install. How to install? Very simple. It's a software, right? So we know how to install a software. When you click on, it will open a .msi file. Okay, you just need to continue. So as per the steps, right, you need to continue. Okay, once you install, right, again you can go to the command prompt and run -node-v, so that you can check whether Node.js is properly installed or not. Okay, so that's a one prerequisite. So Git is also recommended. If you want to write Git, you can go to the Git bash. You can go to the Git SCM and you can download. Okay, how to test it? Again, you can run git. If you run the git, right, if you got this kind of a commands, if you got this kind of a help documentation, right, that means it's installed. Okay, as I already installed Node.js, right, I'm not installing now, and just clicking on a cancel. Okay, clear so far? So what we require to run a React app, it's mandatory to have a Node.js, but good to have a, you know, Git. Okay, yes. So why we need a Node?
Sir, do we need to set up any environment variable for Node.js after installation?
No, nothing is required. Like, how do you install a Java, right? So in similar way, you can.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so why we need a Node.js? Simple. So usually, right, first of all, React.js is what built on top of JavaScript or something else. Anyone?
JavaScript.
It's on top of JavaScript. Okay, so to run a JavaScript, right, we don't need any of a setup. Okay, we just need a browser. We just need a browser. But when it comes to React.js, right, we need a Node.js. Why we need a Node.js? Why we need a Node.js? So very simple. So why we need a Node.js? So whenever we are developing a production-ready application, what production-ready application? So first thing which we require is what? Hard reload. What is that? Hard reload. That means whenever I write some code, if I go and see my browser for the output purpose, right, my output should ready. Okay, I don't want to do a manual job. I write some code and go to the browser and refresh the browser. I don't want to do that. Okay, so in a production ready or in a large scale applications, right? So we don't want to do that manual job. That manual job can be automated with what? Node.js. Okay, one of example, guys. In lot of stuff which we can achieve with our Node.js. Okay, let's say I would like to add a chart. Let's say, so in my application, right, I would like to add a charts like this. Okay, this is the one of a React library called chart.js, where you can achieve the what, line chart, bar graph, lot of stuff. Okay, so to use this in your project, again you need a Node.js, because this is a one of a third-party library. Okay, so where it written some way of to implement the chart. Okay, to use this one, again we need a Node.js. Okay, so in short, so Node.js will give a provision to execute your React app, which has the benefits for hard reloading and adding a third-party modules, as well as let's say your JavaScript. Your JavaScript need to be minified. What does mean of a minified? So guys, yeah. So what else? So JavaScript, right? When you go in a production mode, it need to be minified. What does mean of a minified? So when you write a huge lines of a code, so it will occupy some memory, right? 2 KB or 10 KB, whatever. Okay. So when you go for a production, okay, when you go for production means when you go for a live, it means you are handovering your website or web application to the customer. So that customer application need to be much faster. In that case, right, your code need to be minified. Okay, let's say in a developer version, you have a 10 KB of a file. When it goes to the production or customer environment, it need to be minified how much it can be. Okay, so it's supposed to be 2 KB or 5 KB based on the logic. Okay, if you go ahead from a 10 KB to 2 KB, so are we saving a time of a loading a file? Are we improving the performance of a file?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we can achieve with the Node.js. Okay, lot of stuff is there, guys. Okay, so that's the reason, right? We need a Node.js. So you can, you can ping a messages, okay, or you can post your questions in the chat forum based on a point, right? I'll help you to answer. Okay, as well as, right? So we have a WhatsApp group. Okay, in the chat you can see. So please join in that WhatsApp group. You will get the latest updates from Ashok IT or from my side. Okay, cool. So good with the Node.js. To run a React app, what we require? We require a Node.js and good to have a Git. Okay. Now let's install the Node.js. How to install? So we have an official documentation from a React site. Okay, you can go to this create React app dev and just start installing. Okay, first of all, right, you need to install this create React app. Okay, how you are able to install? So when you install the Node.js, when you install the Node.js, right, we have a npm node package manager. Okay, when you install the Node.js, right, automatically you'll get the npm node package manager. What is this node package manager? Which is similar to your app store, guys. In a mobile, right, you have an app store or play store, whatever, right, where you go and take the apps from a store, right? Similar way, in a UI place, we have a npm node package manager. This node package manager will help you to take a forward of whatever module you require. Okay, let's say in a Java point of view, a Maven or Gradle. Similar way, a node point of view or a JavaScript point of view, we have a npm. Okay, so this npm contains all the packages or third-party module. So you can go forward and go to the documentation and install. Here, right, we have one command called npm install create react app. Okay, if you already install, no need to install. So if you are the first time, just install this command, just run this command. How I'll get to know, okay, whether it is installed or not? Just run this command. Okay, what is this command? What is this command? If you see the syntax of it, right, we are executing this create react command with the help of npx. Okay, npx stands node package manager executable. Okay, and this is the what one of a package or one of a third party module from a npm, and we are creating a react app with the name of my app. So this can be user defined. You can give your name or you can give whatever which you want. So it's supposed to be your project name. Okay, let's say react docker. If you run this command, right, you'll get your project automatically. You'll get the project. Now opening a command prompt and running this. Yeah. Once I run it, so our create react app will help you to create a project with the name of react docker. Okay, so once you run this command, what happened internally? It's very simple. So it will take a whatever required dependencies from a node package manager. Okay, how it will take? So with the help of what you see, one package.json. This package.json, okay, so will contain all the dependencies what it is required. Okay, it's still adding, guys. Once it is done, right, you can see whatever the module which is added in a package.json. Okay, what is this package.json? Package.json going to contain, all the required dependencies of to run our project. Okay, we'll see once it is done, right? We'll see how it works. Okay, so for any questions, everyone got an idea how to install a React app? Okay, so once we are good, right, we'll run this application or run this sample project. Anyone has a questions, guys?
Sir, what is the difference between NPM and NPX? Because sometime I have saw that NPM is being used. NPM create React app.
Yes. So see, npm is a core for all the commands what you have in a market now. So you in a market you see Arno also, right? Okay, sometimes you see pnpm also. Okay, so what is that? npx is there. Okay, npm also, sorry, pnpm also there and also there. So for all of these three, okay, so your core module is what? npm. Core module is what? Node package manager. On a top of it, right, depends on a use case. Okay, depends on use case. Some third party libraries got written which help you, so adding your node modules in a much faster way or running your node module in another way. Okay, that's what. Okay, if you see, and is one of a module, pnpm. Okay, so faster or performance node package manager, npx. Okay, node package manager executable. That means when you're trying to execute kind of these commands, right, you're supposed to use the npx. So guys, please stop annotating. Someone annotated. Yeah. So that's what went it as npx, and we have a lot of third party modules. Okay, so in a market, right, we mostly go with these three. Okay, but all are so on the top of npm only. When you run this and also internally it calls the npm. Okay, let's see whether our project is installed or not. It's still installing. Yeah. Yes, it's installed. So along with the installation, right, you see some documentation also. Okay, so it's created in this project, okay, in this path. If you want to start a project, right, what you need to do, go to the project what you created, react docker, and if you want to start the application, you simply say npm start. npm start. So once you run this npm start, right, in your package.json there's a couple of dependencies. Those help, those modules will help you to start your application. Okay, to start your application, let's see. Yes, it is started with a by default port of what, 3000. Okay, so that's a by default followed by the react guys. Okay, so react internally, right, or react cra, create react app, internally follows webpack module. What is that? Webpack. Okay, java, right, how you have a gradle or maven, right, similar way internally, right, there is one package manager called, or there is one third party module called webpack, which will take care of all the hard reloading and converting from a javascript to unified version, as well as if you use the TypeScript, right? So the TypeScript need to convert it into browser understandable format. Everything will taken care by the webpack. Now you see, we run the application. Okay, we see localhost 3000. Okay, we got the output. Okay, we got the output. Now, if I would like to do a code changes, what I can do, I can go to my project. One of a famous editor which we use in a real time, that is VS Code. What is that? VS Code. Now I can go to my VS Code. Okay, I can write my code. I can write my code. So as per the documentation also, right, it's saying that. Okay, what I can do, go to the edit. Okay, so or edit the src, sorry, edit the app.js under src folder. Okay, and save to reload. Okay, that means automatically it get reload. Now I'm going over here. Okay, I'm replacing all the stuff with what? React with the Docker. Okay, I just saved it. Now when I come to the browser itself, right, you see browser will take a time and get reload. Why it is not? Let's press the enter here. Okay, so code will get compiled and automatically you'll see a changes. React with the Docker. Let's do one more change. React with the Docker by Venkat. Now I just save it. Okay, you see, without reloading itself, you'll see your output is ready. Okay, how it is ready? With the help of create react app, it's automatically ready. So how we can install the create react app? First of all, we need to install the Node.js. Otherwise, that we can't install the create react app. Okay, so here you can do a lot of changes. You can add your HTML changes. Okay, so a lot of things you can. You see, automatically we got the changes. Clear so far? Any questions, guys? Yep. So what is different between package.json and package log.json? Okay, so in a package.json, right, you'll contain the what are the dependencies which you require. Okay, what are the dependencies which is required. Now once you install the project, right, okay, what is the use case, guys? So let's say difference between package.json versus package log.json. What is this difference? First of all, right, in a package.json will contain the all the required dependencies. Is that all the required dependencies? When it comes to package.json, so it will contain the all information of your pair dependencies. Let's say I'm using a module. Contain what? A module. Now a module can be built on top of what? So it can be B or it can be C, right? All this peer dependency information you can find it in a package log.json. Let's say we'll go to the package JSON here. Let's look for one module called React DOM. Okay, if you go over here, you can see the React DOM. Okay, as a main dependency. You see, Okay, as a main dependency, you have a React. But you see the period dependency, React 18.2.0. Okay, period dependencies and normal dependencies, loose.inify and scheduler. Okay, and one more thing, right? So when you installing a, one of a package, so in your package.json, you might contain this cap symbol. Okay, what is this cap symbol? Anyone? What is this cap symbol? Let's make this session more interactive, guys.
Yeah, it's the upgrade version. It will take upgrade version and all.
Upgrade version of what? Major version or a minor version?
It's a minor version.
It's a minor version. That means if you have a new version which is 18.3 or 18.41, those versions it automatically get installed when you run a npm install. Okay, if you remove it, okay, if you remove it, what will happen? That means it stick to the particular version. So when I say 18.2.0, stick to that. Though you have a 18.3 or 18.4, don't take it. That's what we're gonna mention here. Okay, in a package.json. Okay, but when it comes to package.json, right? Do you see? It clearly says that 18.2.0. Okay, so that means when you have a package.json along with a package log.json, in the log.json, right, it will clearly mention what required it will require, what version it is required. Okay, so though you install npm install, right, it won't take a latest version. Okay, until you have a package log.json, right, it won't take a latest version, because in your, you see the name itself, package log.json, locking the versions. Okay, locking the version. When you install today, those versions, right, you, though you mention a cap symbol, though you don't mention a cap symbol, stick to the version. Okay, let's say you want to go for a latest version, then what you need to do, you need to remove this package log.json, then do a npm install. Then what it will do, so it will take the latest version as per your cap symbol. The name itself, it specifies, right, lock the versions. Okay, so that's the advantage with package.json. There is one more third advantage. One is that, so it will take a peer dependency, or it will contain peer dependency information, and one version locking. What is that? Version locking. Third one is what? Catchy. Okay, what is that? Catchy. That means, so when you have a package.json, if you already have a load modules, right? So what it will do, it will cross check. Okay, what does mean? When you install the project with the npm install the first time, it will create a package log.json. Okay, when you install second time, again npm install, what it will do, it will compare the package.json along with the package.json. If it see any difference in a package.json, the version upgrades or a new module got added, then only that particular module will get loaded from, okay, npm or from a repository. Okay, that means it won't install every time. Okay, it will just cross check with your package.json and package.json. Okay, based on the new changes, it will go to your registry and download, so that you can save your time. Okay, that's what with package log.json. Got it? What is the difference between package.json and package log.json? Okay, so again, I'm repeating that, right? So with the help of package.json, you can achieve three benefits. Okay, one is that, right, it will contain the peer dependency information. Okay, and second one, right, version locking. Version locking, nothing but, let's say in your package.json, you mentioned the cap symbol 8.2.0. Though you have a 8.3 also. Okay, when you have a package log.json, it stick to the 18.20, whatever it is mentioned in package.json. It won't take the latest, because you log the version with the help of package.json. Getting? Again, I'm repeating. So in a in a package.json, if you mentioned a specific version along with the cap symbol, okay, if you have a package log.json, it will go over here and check what is the version. Okay, it will take that particular version only. It won't take the latest. Okay, so if you want the latest, you can remove the package log.json. Yeah, tell me. Someone asked a question.
Yeah, sorry, Venkat. Apologies for disturbing. Like Venkat, one small doubt. So here, once if I log this React DOM version 18.20, so it will download only 18.2. So
Yes.
what if I want to upgrade? So 18.3. So I need to remove this one, and package.json will be automatically download. How about this at the time? How this will react this package.log.json?
Okay, let's say what happened, right? So let's say you want to upgrade your package. So you
Yes.
need to remove your package.json and do npm install. Then what it will do? It will again create a package.json with a fresh version.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's how it will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that time, this package log.json will be automatically updated.
Automatically
Again, I need
update with a new version.
Okay, got it. Yes,
Okay.
got it.
Right. So the third advantage is what? Catchy. So when you have a package.json, right, it will cross-check with the package.json and package log.json. So based on the differences, then only it will download the files from an npm or registry. Okay, so that you can save your time. Otherwise, you see, right, when we do a npm install, we need to wait for some time to get the packages downloaded into your local. That is also you can save with package log.json. Clear, everyone? Cool. Right. So are we good with the React? How to install and what are the required dependencies? And we are able to see the output of a React. Good. Okay. So we'll move forward. And in a React, right, there is a lot of advantages. So compared to other modules or other, frameworks. So that is, major with virtual DOM. Okay. What is virtual DOM? I quickly explain. Then we'll move into Docker. Virtual DOM in React. Okay, very simple. What is DOM? First of all, what is DOM? Okay, when you go to your React code, right, or not even React, any of a web page, okay, whatever in a developer tools you see, right, you see this all the HTML. This is what we call it as DOM, document object model. What is that? Document object model. So now if you do any change programmatically, right here, usually with a JavaScript, the page, okay, the page will get re-render. What does mean of re-render? It will get refresh and re-render. Okay, so there's other way to solve the problem, that is by using Ajax. Without reloading, we can achieve it. Okay, so and one more way, right? You can update your specific code with a JavaScript. You can update your specific code with JavaScript. But to do that, right, we need to do our own programming a lot. Okay, so with the help of a React, right, we can solve that problem, as well as React written with the help of an algorithm, so which follows, so DOM replacement. It follows a DOM replacement or inject only the specific what it is updated. That is what technically we call it as virtual DOM. Okay, that means what it will do, first of all, right, it will take a copy of your existing DOM. That means it will take your copy of existing DOM. Okay, whenever you do a change, okay, so the copy will update. Okay, not real DOM. What? The copy will update. So whenever it see a real changes in your DOM, okay, then only the piece of code what it is updated, that will only inject into your actual DOM. Okay, let's say if you see here, you have a changes here. Okay, you have a changes here. So instead of replacing the whole DOM, right, this particular piece of a change, okay, you see virtual DOM. Okay, whenever it see a changes, right, it will cross check with the real DOM and browser DOM, and only the piece of a changes what it is required to update, that will only get updated into your DOM. Okay, that is the concept called virtual DOM. Okay, everyone clear on virtual DOM? If you have any questions, you can ask me. Good. So in a React, right, it follows the virtual DOM that makes your application much faster. First of all, why we need to learn React, guys? Why we can't use Angular? Why can't we use third party? Anyone?
It is using less memory.
It uses the less memory. Okay.
As per our requirement, we can implement in our library. In
Yes.
Angular is a hello.
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Angular is a framework. they provided particular things. You need to do this kind of things. But React is a library. As per our thinking, yeah, our requirement, we can use that.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes. Any other pointers?
React is faster because of virtual DOM.
Yes. Okay. React is only worked on virtual DOM. Yes. Okay. Good guys. So keep respond. Let's make this session is more interactive. Okay. So you guys came over here to understand much better way for React and Docker, right? So please interact. Good.
But isn't it that when it is checking all the time, it is also an overload on the browser? It is keeping checking with the real DOM and then making the changes. The check itself is an overload on the framework. Is it not that way?
Good question. See, so to answer your point, right? See, the virtual DOM, right, not going to work on a browser. Okay, so that means it's not going to be an impact on a performance. What it will do, it has a mechanism which will work on, internally of your browser. Okay, we have many of our use cases in our browser. Okay, let's say we have web workers. So those are out of your JavaScript. It will keep a separate process and run the logic and get to your browser. Right? So React follows that way. Okay, with the help of the thread, it won't keep a button on a browser. Cool. Fine. So again, so comparing with the large frameworks, right, or other frameworks like Angular, okay, or Vue.js, right? Not getting fine. Chanshika, you're not getting the how real virtual DOM works, or have any question?
Sir, I'm not getting the how virtual DOM work. Someone asking that question, I'm not getting exactly what is.
Okay, I'll repeat it. Okay, please stop annotating. I see a couple of people are annotating. Disable annotation for others. Let me remove this. Yeah. I'll show you 1 second the diagram. Okay. Okay. Now tell me what you understand from here. Let's say, assume this is your real DOM. Okay. You made some change. Okay. What happens when you go with a JavaScript, right? If you do one change, your whole DOM going to be re-render. Whole DOM going to be re-render. Now, what virtual DOM or what React will do, it will take a copy of your actual DOM as an object. Let's understand in a JavaScript point of view as an object. Okay. Now, whenever you do a change, so React internally do a change in your new copy of object. Okay. I'll type points here. You'll understand much better. Okay. What is real DOM? It contains the browser, which contains the browser, HTML, CSS. That is a real DOM. What is virtual DOM? Copy of real DOM. Copy of real DOM. How React works, right? Okay, let's say you do a change. Okay, in that case, right? So React will take care of updating your virtual DOM. Okay, that means copy of your real DOM. Copy of your real DOM. Now, this virtual DOM will compare, okay, with your real DOM. Compare with what? Your real DOM. It's here, right? Couple of changes. Let's say your real DOM contains the 5 tags. Okay, so in your virtual DOM, right, you added 6th tag or 6 tags. What it will do? It will, instead of replacing the whole 6 tags, right? Whole 6 tag, it will add +1. Okay, and render only the new change, whatever it is required, right? That is only get updated into your real DOM. With the help of this, are we able to, solve a number of, tags replacement or, replacing what it is it's required instead of replacing the whole logic. Getting it or not, Chandrasekhar?
I'm getting, sir.
Okay, so that's what we can achieve with virtual DOM. Very simple, guys. So let's say in a JavaScript or Java, right? You have 2 objects. You'd like to merge it. Okay, when you are merging it, whatever it is, new on our right object. Okay, or what is the difference between our two objects? Those want like to merge it. Okay, so that's what you can do with your virtual DOM. In a simple example, the programmatic point. Okay, internally React will take care how to update and where to update, right? So that part can taken care by the React.
Sir, one question. The virtual DOM object, where it is placed?
Where it is placed. Okay, so right. So to answer your question, when you install a create React app, what it will get installed? Okay, to install the JavaScript dependencies. Okay, that JavaScript dependencies, right, internally create an object of your DOM, nothing but in your browser only. In short, in your browser only. Okay, it will create a copy in your browser and start working on. Got it? Right. So that means, right, it's not burden on a browser, because in a browser, right, you have multiple tabs. In a similar way, programmatical, right, we can create a multiple web workers. Those web workers will take care of all this logic because it's out of your DOM. Okay, out of your current thread. So JavaScript is single thread or multi-threaded, guys?
Single
thread.
Yes, single threaded. So when it is a single threaded, there is no point of running a multiple processes. Okay, then we have a concept called web workers that will be separated off your single thread and run it in other way or other process or other thread and come back to your browser. That is what internally React will do. Okay, cool. Hope you clear, Chandrasekhar.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you.
We are good, right? So we just installed a project and able to do a changes. Okay, so other advantages, right? So React follows the JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript with HTML. That's the reason you see JSX. That's the reason we see JSX. JSX stand JavaScript with XML. Okay, you'll write the changes and everything, right, in a JavaScript only. You see here. Okay, you see your HTML inside a .js file. Okay, that's the reason we call it as .jsx approach. Okay, and it follows the component based structure. Okay, so what is the advantage of this component based structure? If you go and see the Flipkart, right, so they create a multiple components and which are reusable. You see, this can be called as a component which contains the image and text. Once you created this component, so can we reuse it or not? You will to see, right, different content but same look and feel. Okay, different content with the same look and feel. Okay, that means what we do in a React, when we are developing it, right, we'll create a one component. That component going to be replaced with a different data. Okay, that's what React follows, so that you can develop your application in a much reusable way. Okay, so that's what component. Okay, and each component has its own life cycle. That life cycle will help you to understand what it is executing and where is it is executing, what is the status of it. So with the help of the status, right, you can do your own logic. You can do your own logic. Okay. Yep. So for component design, which pattern it follow? No pattern. Okay. So that is an advantage and disadvantage of React, guys. When you compare with the Angular kind of a framework, Angular follows the MVC because it's a framework. Okay, because it's a framework. Okay, when it comes to React, right, being it is a library, okay, right, it won't follow any of a pattern. Okay, so it just give you a possibility of running an application. So if you want to build an application, you can follow any of a pattern which you go. You can go with MVC or MVVM, okay, or event driven application or whatever pattern you want to follow. Okay, because it's a library. That's an advantage, because it give a provision how you want to customize, but Angular does not. Okay, Angular stick to go with whatever they give it to you. Okay, good.
But sir, when we seeing virtual DOM like single object creation, and we are getting only a particular changes, we think like a singleton pattern.
I agree. Okay, But there is on top of it, right? It has one more mechanism internally. How it follows, right? It's a different one. Okay, so component point of right, it won't follows any architecture. Okay.
Sir, is any place where we need to use Angular only instead of React? It is helpful to use Angular better than React.
Very simple, okay, good question actually. So where we need to use a React or where we need to use Angular? That's what your question, right, Vishal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's simple. So when you are developing a new project, right, if you need a good performance of application, then you can go out with React. So in a market, right, at present, okay, 90% of a project, the new projects, what I'm talking about, not the existing project, new projects which are following the React only. Why? Because React is much faster than Angular. Okay, that means when you're starting a project, good to go ahead with the React. Okay, because so React has a virtual DOM as well as it has good documentation and good support also, along with open source. Okay, so these three parameters help you to go in a React. And one more fourth parameter, resources. Okay, so when we are starting any project, first of all, we need to see who will develop. If the resources are from an Angular background, if my time limits goes to specific, in a month or 2 months, it depends on a company. In that case, what we do, we stick to what resources have around. If resources are familiar with the React, I can start React. Okay, if resources are specific to Angular, what I do with starting a React, they need to update themselves and start working on a React, right? It takes some time. That's the reason, right? So if resources are good or having some moderate knowledge on a React, obviously good to start on React. Got it? Because
Yes,
when
sir.
you go with the Angular, right? Angular has a 50-50 of your HTML and 50 of your JavaScript. Okay, that means the resources who are better in these two, right? You can start. But when it comes to React, you need 80% of the skills on a JavaScript and 20% of skills on HTML, CSS. Okay, so why it's required in such a, because it will help you in terms of performance what code you written. Okay, so in short, the new application what is getting started, it's mostly go with the React. Okay, and lesser projects. Okay, it's all depends on the resources and the project timeline. Then they'll start other frameworks.
Yeah, is that any use cases like Angular works for this kind of application and React is best for this
No,
kind of?
not like that. Okay, you can do whatever do with the Angular, with the React with Angular, you can do. Okay, there is no such kind of things, because by the end, these 2 or 3 frameworks built for single page applications use cases only. Okay, you can differentiate. Let's say so Node.js versus Java, you can differentiate, because the streaming kind of applications or event driven kind of application, Node.js is much better. Okay, but coming to UI frameworks, right? There is no specific like that. 99% of use cases you can do anything with either React or Angular or Vue.js. Okay, these are the 3 open source modules which are available. You can do it.
Is Node.js knowledge is required to learn reactjs?
Not required. Okay, Node.js is a in short I can tell. Let's say if you want to write a Java, right? You need a JVM or JDK. Simple. Similar way, if you want to use this React package or create React package, you just need a placeholder to run your React app. That's it. So it's not required to learn Node.js, because Node.js is a server-side JavaScript that comes in a different way. Let's say how you do a server-side programming, right? So if you want to do in that way, you need to learn a Node.js. To do a client-side logic, you don't need to learn learn Node.js. You just need to use it as a software. That's it.
Okay.
Good. Right. So next one, right? React follows, state management. Okay, what is the state management, right? To communicate from multiple components, right? We can start it in or we can use this state management. For a state management, right? React, we have a Redux or context API. This will help you to communicate from one component to another component. Okay, next, reusability, we already discussed, no? So when you create a component kind of approach, okay, so you can reuse it in multiple places, which we discussed in a Flipkart point of view. If you open a Flipkart, right, you see a lot of a component. You see This is one component which is configurable and used in multiple places. And similar way, this one also. Okay. So once you create this kind of a component, right? You see, wherever we are get some same look and feel, we use it over there. You see, everything is component driven. If you see here, right? Let's go to some more product detail. You see, if you create one component with the image and look and feel like this, you can reuse it with a different data. Okay, so that's what we can achieve with React. Clear? Any questions so far? We are getting started into Docker, guys. Okay. Any questions so far on a React? Are we good? How to install the React and how to run the application? The basics of React.
In the Angular also virtual DOM concept is there, sir. That
No, it
there
is
also
not
need.
there. It is not there.
Do we have any drawbacks in React?
That's what the drawback itself, right? The resources availability. Okay, so when you're writing a React application, right, you need 80% of skills on a JavaScript, 20% of skills on HTML and CSS. Okay, you need to write more of a JavaScript. Okay, so when you compare with the Angular and React, no, Angular 50% of HTML and CSS. If you know, right, you know, when you have a HTML knowledge, if you do a conditional programming, much better. But when it comes to React, you need to write a conditional logic in a JavaScript only.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
And one more thing, right? It's not following any of a pattern. It's a purely to the developer. Okay. So as it's not giving any architecture for me, so I need a good resource to who can help me to, you know, better design out of my application. Okay. These are the two things. Good.
We can use TypeScript or JavaScript only. TypeScript is a parent of that JavaScript, right?
No. Okay. So TypeScript is on a wrapper of a JavaScript with the help of types. With the help of types. Okay.
Like data sets we can use in that TypeScript, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay. What is TypeScript? What is TypeScript? So TypeScript is a wrapper on a top of JavaScript. Why we need this wrapper? Okay. Let's say, you know, JavaScript, right? We used to create a variable like this. Let I equal to 0. Okay. In the next line, right, there is a possibility to replace with a string also. There's a possibility to replace with string also. That means, let's say when you create a variable, we are saying it is a number. Okay. In a next line or a couple of other lines, right, I am placing a, you know, string. Then programmatically, if I write a logic such as, then this way, what will happen? Will it work or will it get break?
It will get break.
Okay, because we are trying to do a manipulations on a number. That's how we did in a logic, but somehow, right? So we are using a string, then it will give an error. Okay, our runtime errors. So to prevent these cases, right? So TypeScript was developed by the Microsoft to solve this problem. Okay, whenever I create a variable, no, so I'll simply say number. Okay, now when I'm assigning this Venkat, what it will do? So TypeScript is a wrapper, right? It will show an error. It will show an error and it will compiling itself, right? And get work. Okay, so it will show a compile error and you can't go forward or you can't run the code. Okay, until you resolve the compiler, because here you're saying it is a number. Okay, that's how you can solve a problem. You see, right? This colon number, this is a type. Okay, these types were given in TypeScript. That is the only the advantage.
Sorry to interrupt. In runtime, we can't change our value in TypeScript. In JavaScript, we can change.
You can change it. You can change it. There's no restriction on it. But when you write a code, when you're writing a code, no, so runtime errors, we can't prevent it. Okay, we need to do exception handling for it. But while writing the code, right, if you do such kind of things, right, who will stop me? In a JavaScript, there is no one, you know, stop me the code. But when you go to TypeScript, right, it will give a compile error. Before going to compile it, right, it will go you to show in an error in a, you know, in your VS code, so that you can resolve that error, go for a running the code. Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Cool. Did I answer your question? Someone?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, that's what with the TypeScript. So, in a React, right, we use a TypeScript and JavaScript, but I recommend to go with a TypeScript because you see the advantage, right? When you have this advantage, use that.
I'm sorry, actually. So I'm not understanding exactly the difference between React and Angular. Why? Because Angular, we are calling it as a framework and it is library. But here and there, we are using components and reusing of the components. How the difference is exactly, in both of them?
Theoretically,
as
right,
a developer perspective.
very simple. When you go with Angular, right, it is a framework. Whatever you require, nothing but, right. So if you require a routing, okay, are you required to call an API? Are you required to the observable concept? Okay, those things which is predefined there in an Angular, but not in a React. Okay.
How React will take care of it then?
You need to decide. Okay, it will give a provision that to do a virtual DOM concept with some patterns. That's it, or some use cases. That's it. On top of it, right, you need to add. Let's say, being it is a library, right? So if you want the routing, you have to go to third-party model called React Router and add it. If you would like to do an API call, you need to add an AXJS module. Okay, that means it's give a provision. Okay, so whatever you require, add it. Let's say you want to buy a car. Okay, it won't give you everything. It will give a body of a car and extra accessories, whatever you require, right, you need to add.
So you mean the flow, whatever we want, we can create it. Whereas in Angular, we have to follow the router and modules, the files, whatever we have, and then we have to use that.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Cool. So that's all about, right, some brief about what the React and what is the advantage of it. Now we're going to see Docker. Okay, what is a Docker? What is advantage of it? Tell me.
One question.
Yeah.
For Angular also, we can able to create one component and use multiple anywhere, right?
You can.
Okay, but main difference is
that's what I told you, right? So the main difference is that, right, React is a library and Angular is a framework. Okay, you need to follow what Angular give it to you, but React, no. You can add or you can follow whichever you liked it. Okay, so component point of view, state management point of view, same. Okay, but so being it a library, you need to add an extra with a concept called virtual DOM. Okay, see, React follows the component behavior, Angular also follows, Vue also follows the component behavior only. Okay, the core is different. Understood?
Got it. Yeah.
Good. Are we good? Okay. Can we start our Docker?
Yes, sir.
Good. Right. So I built a simple application. Okay, that is a portfolio kind of a logic. Okay, so by default, if you open application, right, you see your photo. I'm just giving a brief about what project we are going to make it a Docker. Okay, this is a React application. Okay, you see, right? So it's a one-person portfolio. How you have a resume, right? Similar way. You have an image and some detail about you. Once you click on about us, okay, you see about us information. Okay, skills, what technologies you all have it. Front-end technologies, back-end technologies with a routing. This is what we built it with the help of React Router. Okay, so projects, list of projects what you worked on. Okay, so guys, this is one of a project what we developed in our current batch. Okay, so in our current batches or our upcoming batches, okay, we do everything real time. Okay, so if you have any questions, right, you can ask us, as well as there's a WhatsApp group. You can join it to get a further updates on what batch we're going to start at, whatever information, right? You can join the chart link or the WhatsApp group link, chat. You can go on, register for it or join in that. Okay, right. So one of a batch, right, we developed this project. Okay, so once you click on a projects, right, you'll see the list of a projects what you developed it, and you can see detail about it. You see. Okay, and click on a contact us, you'll navigate to the contact us page. Navigate to the contact us page. This is an application, okay, a single page application, so specific to portfolio or personal resume kind of a one, which we developed it. Okay, good. So what we're gonna see, we're gonna make this one as a Dockerize. Okay, how it works in a Docker, how that part we're gonna see. Cool. Okay, so now we developed a React application. Okay, so before going to the Docker, first of all, right, how to deploy this code in a production, or how to deploy this code in a server. Okay, that part we'll see. Then we'll see what is the use case going with the Docker, why we need to go with the Docker. That is also we'll see. Okay, first, what is asked? Yes, we developed an application with the React. That is good. Okay, now how to deploy the React application? How to deploy the React application? There are multiple ways. Okay, what are those? There are multiple ways. Yeah. Okay, what are the ways? Someone can read it for me. Abhishek, Lakshman, Sai, anyone can you read it for me?
Sure, sir.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So first one is static file hosting. So which says that okay, this is the simplest way via which we can deploy the React application, and and we can build our application with the CRA which we already discussed, and that will generate
Read
the
only
static.
headings. Read only headings.
Okay, sir. And the second one is a traditional web server where we deploy our application on Apache, Nginx, or IIS. Third one is AWS S3 bucket, which is out of the box provided by AWS, where we can upload our static website there primarily. Last thing is the Docker container, which we can Dockerize our application. This is again, we call it as containerization also.
Yes.
And again, we can use the Docker Swarm, which is over the Kubernetes for the orchestration.
Yes. Okay. So there are multiple ways, guys. Not only these four, there are other multiple ways, but these are the primarily used approaches to host or to deploy our React app. Okay. So fine. What is the single static file hosting? Okay. So what is this traditional web server? You know, if you're from a background of a Java, right, you already have this traditional web server. Okay. So how you deploy your Java code or how you deploy the .NET code, right? Similar way. What we do, we'll build our code. Okay, what does mean of a build? So you know, we know how to start an application, right? We just start npm start. Okay, just say npm start. Similar way to be ready, you know, to make it your application in a production mode, right? You need to run command called npm run build. Okay, once you run your npm run build, whatever logic which you written, right? So that will get minified and ready for your production or ready for your deployment. You see the command? Creating optimized production build. Okay, that means it's not going to contain your component behavior. Everything will compile into one file, okay, or based on your configuration, and it give you the possibility to deploy it in any of a server. Okay, so that's what this npm run build. Okay, once we run this, right, what will happen if you see the folder structure, right? Okay, you'll get a one folder called build. In a build file, right, you will see all the code. Okay, which is ready to deploy. You can go to this build folder and see the code. Now this code, right, we're going to deploy in what? In our server. Which server? It's all depends on our purpose. Okay, it's all depends on our requirement. One is that static file hosting, nothing but you can go to your hosting. Okay, it can be a GoDaddy, it can be any of a third party page. You can go for the GitHub pages also. Okay, you can go over there and start hosting your code. And that is one approach. Another one, traditional web server. Okay, nothing but if you have a VM, okay, or if you have your own setup of your local server, it can be Apache or a web server or a node server, you can place this code into the particular server and start working on. And third one, right, if you're using a cloud, you can have your own VM, right, virtual machine. You can go to the virtual machine and host the code by using the virtual VM IP address. You can access your application. Okay, and fourth one, Docker. Okay, third one is Docker. Okay, so first of all, right, we'll see how to host the simple file hosting or static file hosting. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do with the help of a static file hosting, I have my own hosting. Okay, so there, right, I'm going to deploy our code. There I'm going to deploy a code. Which code I need to deploy? SRC code or build code?
Build code.
Yes. Okay. So I have my own hosting. I'm going over there and hosting my code. Okay. As we already build the code, right? Production ready. So I'm going to build it. So to build it, right? First of all, you need to have a domain and you need to have a hosting and you need to have a FTP account. Okay. With the help of that FTP account, right? So you can connect your hosting with the help of a tool called FileZilla. With the help of a tool called FileZilla. Now, if you have everything ready in your, for you, you can go to the public HTML. I already have some code. I'm going to remove this code. And I'm going to remove this code. I removed it. I have my own domain called reactjs.com. Okay, you see, nothing is there. It's not working. Okay. Now we create an application, right? Just saying, okay, so reactjs with the Docker by CH. That's what we developed it. Now I'm going to deploy. Okay, so in my server or in my hosting, you see, I selected it on the right side. I just selected all of them, upload. Once I clicked on upload, right, these files, everything will move into my public HTML folder of my hosting. Okay, now I can go to my browser and refresh. You see, whatever changes which we did it. Okay, those changes are available in, okay, for everyone, because this domain is global. Okay, this domain is global. Everyone can access my website. Clear how to do a static hosting or simple hosting? Any questions, guys? So first of all, to do this, you need to have a domain and hosting. Then only you can. So once you have a hosting, you can create a FTP account and deploy the code. How to deploy the code? First of all, you should have a production ready code. Okay. Then by using a FileZilla, you can simply upload. Okay. Any questions?
So, sir, on the server on which you have deployed, it is a server that you have built in, or it's a platform like a GoDaddy or something like that?
Yes, it's a platform given by the GoDaddy. Okay, so we have many of our platforms for hosting, right? They have their own servers. Okay, you just need to host your code. That's it.
Iqbal, you have.
Sorry.
Iqbal here. After if citing the registering for reactjs.com, what you have done?
Sorry, sir, come again. Your voice is breaking. Iqbal.
After registering for reactjs.com from any providers, DNS provider, what you have done?
Okay, see, let's say I want a domain. Okay, then what I can do? I can go for a GoDaddy or I can go for a HostingGator or different persons. Okay, so there, right? So I bought a hosting. Okay, I have a domain, but I need to upload my code, no? Okay, that's the reason I need a hosting and domain from a one service provider. So then you can map it. Okay, hosting and DNS, everything you can map it. Then you can upload your code. Okay, right. So clear. So what approach which you followed? Static file hosting. But in a real time, no, this is not a use case. That means, we can't go to directly code and upload. Okay.
Yes, sorry to interrupt. I have one doubt. After change in local, after writing the code, we need to push our code into the Bitbucket. After we have to create the Jenkins pipeline, or after that, how can we deploy?
Okay. So see, we're gonna discuss that point. Okay. So in a real time, right? So whatever approach which you said, that approach which we're gonna follow, not which I showed over here. So this is a simple way of a hosting if you want to create your own portfolio and works. Okay. So that is what this is. What is that? Static file hosting. Okay. But in a real time, right? As you said. So what we do? First of all, right? So we'll used to follow the code called, Git. Okay. So what we do? Let me tell this.
Venkat, I'm having one doubt.
Tell me, Lakshman.
See, in Angular, we have two commands, right? ng-build and ng-build -fraud. Okay. So when we do -fraud, then only it used to give production files or something. ng-build, it will give like a partial product files kind of. So is there any kind of concept in React?
No, there is only one npm run build. Okay, so but you have a possibility that where you want to configure your code, okay, where you want to change your environment. Based on an environment, you would like to change the endpoints of an API call. Okay, so in that case, right, so when you're running the endpoint or when you're running the npm run build, let's say you need to set env, okay, equal to development, or set uid, okay, and npm run build. In this way you can. Okay, now in our React code, what we do, we'll read this process.env. So this is process.env. Process.env file, okay, process.env command. According to that, right, we'll change the endpoints, that logic we used to write in our code. Okay.
What it means, process env file equal to UAT
Okay.
means from where?
So in a real use case, right, in a real time use cases, okay, in a real time use case meant it as, let's say you have application. Okay, this application might follow.
Yes, that I understood. It has to connect to UAT or production, whatever it is. But in a React perspective, where we need to create these things, how, like when we run this, how it point into this command process env something.
Okay, so when you run this command called process.env, right, when you set this one in our code, okay, in our code, we're supposed to read this process.env. Let's say in index.js, right, if you put a console.log of process.env, you can read it actually. It's kind of a variable. Okay, by using that variable conditional, you can update your logic. Ready? Got it, Lakshman, or not?
No, I did not get clearly what, like it is a predefined one, process.env means how, like, see somewhere like there has to be like a UAT file or
First of
production
all,
file.
right, no, hold on. Okay, so first of all, you should understand the Node.js. Okay, then only you can understand this process.env. Okay, by default, it's not existing in your React code. Okay, process.env is one of a built-in feature in a React.js. By using that feature, right, you can read your command line commands. Okay, with the help of this command line commands, right, what you can do, let's say if it is a UAT, okay, so in your code you can return a condition. Let's say how we write, if UAT import
See, I
files.
understood that process.env means it will check whatever it is there, but where that UAT prod, these all will set it. I'm saying these URLs.
I'm about to tell it, Lakshman, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to write a logic importing the files UAT from, okay, UAT file. Okay, next the configuration, whatever you require, right, you need to write. Let's say if you go ahead with a prod configuration, right, you need to create a file called prod. Okay, in this file, okay, in this file, according to your requirement, you can write logic here. Export, okay, URL, prod URL. Okay, let's say if it points to http://www.google.com. okay, prod environment. Okay, export constant. Now what you can do, you can go over here, and so let's say constant URL, by default I'm pointing div.
Okay, got it, Venkat. You can proceed.
Okay, so in this way you used to write. This is a common for everything. Okay, by default your Angular will give a provision. Okay, but React does not. Okay, being a framework, Angular will do, but coming to React, no. You need to set manually your process.env, not only process.env. Sometimes, right, so you might need to set some custom variables. Based on that custom variables, you write some logic. Okay, those also we can do with a process. That means, let's say flag, I can create my own variable. Okay, because process is one of a model from a Node.js. You can use it to pass a external commands to your application. This is for Angular also, or for a React also. Okay, but Angular, being it is a framework, right, it's given you provision that, okay, let's say, as you said, ng build -- prod. By default, to take a prod, internally they written again this process.env only. Okay, you can see in Angular CLI.json, there it contains.
Okay.
Good. Okay, go over here. In a real time, right? What we used to do. So let's say I'm a developer. Okay, I'm a developer. We have multiple developers, right? So each developer will write his own code. Okay, so this code, okay, code will push it to what? Git. Code will push it to Git. Everyone will point to the Git. Everyone will point to Git. Okay, now, so what is Git? Git is one of, what is Git? Anyone?
Version control.
It's a version control. That means it contains, so Venkat changes, contains the Kajal changes, it can contain the Lakshman changes. So while it is containing multiple changes, it can show you that who did the changes. Okay, what are the changes? Everything can be tracked and it can maintain, each transaction change, so that I can get to know who did the change and what is the change, what are the files, and when he did the change. Those everything I can get to know from Git. Okay, everything we can get to know from Git. Okay, now in a real time, right? So what we usually do, when we are building a React application or any of a production application, we used to take a code from a Git. What we do? We used to take a code from a Git. So that code can be running in a Jenkins, or it can be running, your Azure DevOps. Okay, there's something called the Microsoft. They used to follow something. BS.
PFS.
Yes, BS. Okay. Now, sorry.
EM, right?
PFS.
EC2 or virtual machine.
No. So Jenkins is one of a tool, right, to run your CI/CD setup. Similar way, Microsoft allows.
Okay, they have their own, I think. DevOps,
Azure. Azure CD. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, they have their own Azure. Azure setup is there. They'll use it. Okay. So that's how they used to set up actually. That means, so let's say whatever changes I did, those changes will goes to the Git. So those changes will taken care by the Git to set up your CI/CD pipeline. To set up your CI/CD pipeline. What is the CI/CD? Okay, continuous integration, continuous deployment. That means whatever changes which you did it, those supposed to be, integrated with the other dependencies. Okay, and ready for deployment. Okay, there's a lot of concept in a CI/CD, but in short, we'll take a code, okay, by using this Jenkins or Azure DevOps. So we'll make ready our code to be executable and deploy into our environment. Deploy into our environment. Again, I'm going to repeat, guys. Okay, what we usually do, this is deploy in env. Okay, so we do a changes. Those changes will go to the version control called Git. So those changes can be taken care by the Jenkins or Azure. So changes will deploy into environment. Okay, it can be test environment. It can be, development environment, different environment. This is what we usually do. Okay, just for an example, for a quick version, right? I directly went into the FileZilla and uploaded. But this is not actually what we follow in a real time or in a IT industry. Okay, this is the process. Clear on it? Any questions?
No.
Okay, so now we'll see what is the process. Okay, what is the process to install? Now, when you commit the code, do you commit the production ready code or do you commit your changes?
Changes.
Your changes. That means, okay, let's say Venkat had some changes. Okay. Lakshman did some changes. Okay, Kajol did some changes. Okay, so what files I touched it? I might touch, called skills component. I worked on a skills component. Lakshman worked on a projects component. Okay, so Kajol worked on home component. Okay, these all changes will go to the Git. But who will run this npm run build? When you go to production, right, we need to run a npm build, right? Yes or no? We need to make our code ready to be production mode. Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
To run that, what are the steps which are required, or what are the technology which is required? Okay, first of all, right, to make your code to be production ready, first thing you require a node, because we are running a command called what? npm run build node package manager. Okay, that means, so wherever you're going to make your code in a production ready, there you need to install node.js. Yes or no? Okay, that's the first step. Next, you should have a node, and next step, run the npm run build. Okay, once the npm build is run, let's say you are hosting in some server. The server supposed to be started. Okay, server supposed to be started. Okay, this all the stuff which we need to do. Okay, getting any questions so far? So now these steps, right, will get differ, okay, from an environment to environment. Okay, will get differ, or will be same for an environment, it will be differ. Anyone?
Differ.
Okay, sometimes, right, the variables, okay, I might need to pass an extra variables to, okay, based on different environment, but mostly, right, these steps are common. Okay, these steps are common. That means the same steps I need to follow. Same steps I need to follow. Let's say this is a dev environment. This is the dev environment. Okay, let's say I would like to deploy the code in a U8 environment. I'd like to deploy the code in a U8 environment. Okay, U8 environment, what is mean U8 environment? Anyone?
Quality check.
Quality check. That means whatever changes we do, right, those changes would be in a dev environment. Once testing, the primary testing is done, okay, then we'll go for a next round of a testing called U8. U8 will contain, similar data of what production contains. Okay, not actual data, similar data. As well as in a U8, right, let's say you might have upstream partner, downstream partner, some other integrations might require. Those everything will happen in a U8. Okay, once it is good in a U8, then we go for a pre-prod. Okay, about to deploy for a prod. Okay, that's what we do. But for all this environment, so you need to do the same step, guys. That's the problem. Okay, for all the use cases, right? Okay, you need to do a same logic. You need to take a code. What you need to do? You need to take a code. You need to take a code and build it, okay, and deploy. Let's say if you would like to go for a prod again. So you need to take a code and run it. Okay, let's say we have a 3 different environments. Let's say we have a 3 different environments: dev environment, U8 environment, prod environment. For all these environments, okay, what we need to do? We need to take a code and build it. Okay, we need to build the code and deploy into particular environment. Deploy into particular environment. Is it okay? Or I'm doing a tedious job or manual job? Everyone? Please respond. This is the core concept or problem statement for Docker. Okay, why we need to go with a Docker? So this will help you, because here, right, what we are trying to do, we are taking a code from a Git. Okay, we are taking code from a Git and doing a steps called, I need a platform called a Node.js. Okay, I need to do a npm run build. Okay, then make this production ready code and move it to the particular environment. This is the job what usually in a Jenkins or the CI/CD pipeline they do. Okay, but if you see the problem here, I'm doing the same job for different environments. I'm doing the same job for a different environment. That means, let's say to do a one environment deployment, I need a 1 hour. Okay, let's assume. Okay, so same hour, okay, same step I need to do for dev environment and UAT environment. Okay, so that is the problem. Okay, how we can resolve this problem? By using what? Docker. By using what? Docker. Okay, so that's one of the problem statement which can solve with a Docker. There is one more problem which we usually face. Okay, so let's say Venkat is working on one of his local. Okay, Venkat is working on his local. Now in his local, okay, he's using a node 16. He's using node 16 in a Lakshman environment, right? So due to his parallel tasking, that means he's working on a different projects. He's working on a different project as per his requirement, right? He used the node 14. He used the node 14. Now let's say in a causal environment, right? So there is a node version. There is no Node.js. Node.js installed. Okay. Now, so tell me, so let's say I install one module, okay, which will work in my local, but it won't work in a Lakshman. Why? Anyone?
Version dependency.
Version dependencies. Okay, then how Lakshman can run the program? I created an application, okay, which is working in my local fine, but what about Lakshman? In his local, he has different version. Okay, how about Kajal? Kajal have a Kajal don't even have a Node.js. How to run the application? Because so there is a demo is going on. My local got broken, so there is no person for alternative for it. Then how the demo will happen? Getting, guys? This is the real use cases what we face, IT industry. Okay, what is the problem? First problem is that version conflict. Okay, so actually as per the recommendation, good to go with the React 16. But as Lakshman working on multiple projects, okay, he used a 14. 14 is not compatible for the project. Then we can't run the application. Okay, and in a Kajal environment, there is no Node.js at all. Then how she can run? Okay, so then this is the problem what we're gonna solve with again with the Docker. Again with Docker. Getting? Again, I'm going to repeat. So what we're going to achieve with the Docker? So first thing, version dependencies or version conflict, whatever we have it. Okay, those what we can resolve. Okay, you can use a node 14 or you can use a node 12 or node 16. That's up to you. Okay, so still your code works. Okay, still your code works. That's what we can do with our Docker. How we going to achieve it? That's what we can see. But the problem statement, what we're going to solve with a Docker. Okay, so that is one feature of a Docker. Another one, the tedious job. That means whenever I would like to deploy the code into different environment, I don't need to do all these steps again. So install the Node.js and run npm run install or npm run build. All the steps are not required. I'll do only once. What I'll do only once. Okay, what is that? I'll do only once. Okay, I'll create a image. What is that? I'll create an image that means which is executable code. What is technically we call it as image? That is executable code. That executable code I'll deploy wherever I require. Okay, that means I don't need to do all the npm run build and all the other stuff. Okay, I deploy wherever I require. These steps, right? Okay, npm run build, npm serve. You can do it in your local and commit your image, or you can do it in a CI/CD pipeline. But it's only one activity or only 1 hour activity. You don't need to spend 3 hours for 3 different environments. You just need to spend 1 hour job first time for one environment. Next environments, okay, you can directly deploy in a minutes. Let's say you're going for 3 environments and spending 3 hours. Now by using a Docker, you're able to solve that problem with a 1 hour 10 minutes or 1 hour 20 minutes. Okay, getting, guys? Any questions so far? Do you got the problem? Okay, how we can solve a problem with the Docker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Abhishek, Lakshman, any questions on the concept of a Docker?
To make a Docker image, We are taking from the GitHub. So CI/CD
Voice is
pipelines
bit
only,
low,
right?
Nandu. Can you speak a bit louder?
Yeah. If you make a Docker image, we're taking the image from the GitHub, right?
Okay. See, so Docker image creation, right? You can do it in different places. Okay. One is from a local, nothing but in your dev setup also you can do, or in a CI/CD pipeline, right? You can do that. Okay. These are two different ways. Okay. How you follow, that's up to you. Okay. But the concept of a Docker, if you're clear, right? We'll see now how we'll Dockerize our React app and deploy it in a server. Okay. Any questions? Do you understand the problem of a Docker? So advantage of a Docker, what we can achieve with the Docker. Cool. Okay. First of all, right, let's understand some more detail about the Docker. Okay. So what is Docker and all, right? We'll understand. First of all, okay. So Docker is what? It's introduced in 2013. Okay. Guys, if you have any questions, you can post in a chat or you can ask me now, because we are discussing some brief about a Docker, because we already discussed the problem statement of a Docker. Any
Venkat,
questions? Yes,
I'm having a question. This like as like same like before question. See now I don't know about Docker, these all things. I don't have basic knowledge. Like now from Bitbucket, from Git to what we are taking, Docker is like where we are executing those, where we are creating executable files, right? Those files we are deploying into different servers. Correct, right? That's
Yes.
what we are going to achieve it. So in this case, like as you said, dev, UAT, production environment, executable files are pointing to one of the environment, right? Like now that task we done at one time only. How come same files you can deploy in both the?
How come we're gonna deploy? See, that's what we're gonna achieve the Docker. See, deployment point, right? So can be taken care by the the manual job, not manual job. It can be programmed also, but you need to create a images.
Okay.
Okay, that part Docker will help you. Deploying the Docker code, right? You just need to start a server. That's it.
Image means it's like executable files.
We will see. Okay, we'll see the terminology. We have a lot of terminologies called Docker file, Docker ignore, image, container, lot of stuff we'll discuss. Okay, but if you understand the problem, okay, what is the traditional approach, how are you going to solve with the Docker, then we'll see Docker.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Hi, Venkat. In case of microservices environment, the front end and back end will be there. Application contains front end and back end. Front end reactjs and back end is some Java microservice, something like that. Do we need to deploy in both different containers or in the same container?
It's up to your design. Okay, so let's say if you are following two different environments to deploy, right? You supposed to have two Dockers.
Okay, two Docker containers.
Yes.
But how the communication will happen between these two?
See, it's again API call, right? So you need to talk to your second Docker, which contains your API code. Okay, so with the help of one URL, we used to call a data, right? Or we used to call a server application. Now that URL, you need to give it in a front end. Okay, so you will call it. So by the end, the Docker output is what your output, your server code only, or server endpoint name only.
Okay, because of Docker deployment, Docker integration means container communication, do we need to do any code changes in the reactjs application?
No, not required. From a front end side, it's not required. Okay, you just need to change the endpoint if you deploy in a different environment. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. Fine. Docker. Okay, so what is Docker? Okay, so Docker is a one of a software. Again, it is open source. Okay, and written on top of Go. Go is one of a programming language which is written on top of a Java. So by using a Go, this Docker was built. And who built it? So there's a company called Docker itself. They built this. Okay, and giving a more of a virtualization concept. Okay, what is this virtualization? Okay, what is virtualization? In a real time, right, when you are building an application, right, we see a lot of problems. Okay, let's say you are building a Node.js application. Okay, have you ever faced a use case that it works fine in my system, it's not working in the junior system, or your senior system?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's what. So those what we can solve with a Docker. Okay, you might hear it, it's working in my local, other system it's not working, because there is a version conflict. And as well as, right, you are running in your local Windows, but others might use the Linux environment, nothing but Apple. Okay, so again there is a problem. Those kind of things we can easily resolve with Docker. Okay, now tell me, let's say we have a use case that you have a you have a code, it's working in your system, but it's not working in other system, being it is a Linux environment. Now to test in a Linux environment, you need to share your code into your junior resources who is using Apple, or you need to create a virtual machine in Azure for your testing. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, but when you created an environment, okay, or when you created a VM, okay, in a cloud environment, again that is lot chargeable. Okay, you need to have a knowledge on how to create a VM, or you need to take a input from your DevOps people and do it. Okay, so that is again costliest operation. Okay, but when you go with a Docker, okay, what you can do in your local itself, you can mimic how Ubuntu works or how Linux works. Okay, as well as how Node.js 14 works. If you don't have a Node.js 14 also, okay, you can mimic your local, okay, with a whatever version which you require. Okay, that is what the concept called virtualization. What is that? Use OS level virtualization, use platform level virtualization. That is what, okay, the beauty of what Docker. Okay, again, Docker is developed in 2013 and developed by whom? Docker. The company itself named it as Docker. By using which language? Go. Okay, cool. So this is some brief about what Docker. Docker is open source, guys. You can use it. Okay, or if you're going for a production ready kind of application, which is more than 200 people of employees, right? So when you go for a public, the code whatever you develop, that's open for everyone. Okay, so if you want to specific to your code, nothing but make it a private repository, you can go to paid mode. Okay, so where you can see all these repositories. Okay, so we have a hub.docker.com. How we have a Git, similar concept, guys, just correlate with your Git. When you go to the Git, if you want to create a repository, you can create, but there is a limitations, right? Similar way, if you want to go and create a public repository, you can create. If you want to create specific private logic, of course GitHub provides some repositories are private, but this is not. Okay, and you can make it paid mode or commercial mode. You need to go ahead. Okay, cool. So what is the problem statement? Okay, we already seen, right? One problem statement is what? Version. You can resolve version conflict. And second one, okay, reuse the build code. Reuse the build code. When you're going for a multi-environment approach, right, we can reuse the same build code in a different environment so that we can save this time. These are the two problem statement or two advantages what we can achieve when we use the Docker. Clear? Any questions so far? This is a simple advantage, guys. Okay, so that means we'll create a one container. What is container? We'll see. Okay, so our we have a different terminology, guys. One is container, another one is image. Okay, one is a container, another one is image. What is this container? That means, let's say in your local, you build the npm run build, or you run the command called npm run build. Now this npm run build, what it will do? It will generate a production ready code. Production ready code. This production ready code will create a container. That means we just named it as whatever name which we require. Let's say React SPA, single page application. React single page application. That means it contains your production ready code. We named it as React SPA. This is what we call it as container. Okay, the code which is executable in your local. Okay, that is what we call it as container. Now, once we have made this container, right, what we do? We will move into what? Our hub. We will move into hub. Okay, so before moving it, right, we'll create a one more name for it. Why we need to create a one more name? Because we have one more concept, right? Versioning. That means, let's say today I add a login feature, I create a container. Okay, so tomorrow, right, I'm going to work on a register feature. Now, so whoever want to use the login feature, they're supposed to use the login feature. Whoever want to use the register feature, they're supposed to use the register feature. That means we need to maintain this versioning. Yes or no? Guys, following or confused?
Fine.
Yep. So please respond. If you're not getting right, no problem at all. I'll repeat again. Okay. So once you understand the concept, right? So Docker is nothing, complicated. You just need to do a git commands, git pull, git push, git start. That's it. Okay. If you understand the concept, then it's better. Yep.
Just repeat, please.
I'll repeat it. Okay. So let's go ahead. First of all, we have the code. Okay. Next step is what? Okay. We'll build it in a production ready mode. Okay. Nothing but npm run build production ready code. Okay. First step is this. Done. Next step. We need to execute the code or deploy into server. Okay, deploy into server. Now, right, there is a one more step in a between that is called container. Okay, that is called container. That means what will happen now? Okay, your production ready code, okay, our build code, okay, will be wrapped in a name of container. Wrapped in a name of container, production ready code. Okay, simply we call it as container by using a name. Okay, by using a name, we do it. Okay, why we need to do it? Because to maintain a versioning. When we go in a versioning, right, we'll give a name also. Okay, so guys, bear some time. Okay, once you understand or familiar with the terminology, right, I think you will get a much better way. Okay, whenever you create a container, right, we'll maintain a versioning also. Versioning, or let me tell the architecture, you'll get an idea. Okay, in short, just in a mind, keep that container is what? Build code. Just understand in a way of container is nothing but build code. Just assume it is a folder. Okay, that folder can be shipped into your tester environment or prod environment or in your UAT environment, whichever you want. Okay, instead of doing npm run build or installing a Node.js, we don't need anything. Okay, or in another way, just imagine this build is what? Your container. Okay, you can move this folder to everyone to start working on. Okay, for now, just imagining that way. So once we dig into much better way, right, you'll understand with the terminology. So, right. So first of all, right, so we understand what is a Docker. We are good on it. And next one, right? Okay. So what is container? We are good. Just for now, right? Keep a thing that container is nothing but your build code. Okay. Right. So how do we install a Docker? Okay. So if you would like to play with the Docker, how do you do it in your local? Okay. For that purpose, right? We have a Docker. Okay. For our local, it can be Mac or it can be Windows, right? You can go to this URL and download the Docker and work on. Okay. What you can do? Just go to this URL and install the Docker. Okay. And you can work on. Okay. As I already installed, right? I'm not going to do. Okay. So prepare a detailed documentation on it. Okay. We can see now. So first of all, right? So go to this URL, download the Docker. Okay. You see, right? The step. So once you download the Docker, right? You need to run in the admin mode. You need to run it in admin mode because it is accessible for all the users in a specific system. Okay, that's what you need to do. And third step, right? While configuring, that means when you click on either run administrator, you will get this window configuration. In a configuration, right? For sure, you need to select use SSL2 instead of Hyper-V. What is this? Of course, it's not mandatory. It's recommended. Why? Because so we see a problem statement, right? So which you can solve with the Docker. You can create in your Windows system, okay, mimic of what Linux system, okay, or copy of your Linux system. Okay, so that's what you can achieve with. Okay, when you select this WSL, by default you have a Hyper-V in a Windows, but when you go with a Hyper-V, right, the memory what it consume your local, which is high. Okay, that's the reason, right? It's recommended to use WSL2. Okay, that's what you need to do while installing. Once you're done, right, it will take some time and get installed. It will take some time, get installed. So you're supposed to check, okay, whether it is installed properly or not in your Windows features, and you can see whether the Hyper-V is selected or not. Okay, yep. So once the Docker is installed, right, you can see here in your start command, Docker desktop. Okay, Docker desktop. Okay, so you can open it in an administrator mode or normal mode. Once you open it, right, your Docker gets started. Okay, first time, right, you'll get this license agreement, you need to accept it. Okay, you need to accept it. So while getting loaded, right, you know, right, shortcuts you can see here. Docker desktop is running. Okay, as well as Docker desktop GUI, right, you can see the green one. It shows that Docker is running. Sometimes, right, you might have an error, so due to the error, right, you will see an orange or error here. That means it's not installed properly or not started the server. Okay, so you can observe here. One way is what you can go to the shortcuts and see whether it is getting running it or not. Another way, open your desktop UI and you can see. Okay, what is this Docker desktop? Okay, so whatever container which you're going to create, whatever images which you're going to create, okay, everything you can see it in a Docker desktop. Okay, it has some documentation. You can go to the documentation and see also. Clear? Again, so how to install a Docker? We can go to this website, Docker desktop, docs.docker.com. There you can select, okay, whichever version you want. If you are into Windows, select the Windows version and install it. While installing it, for sure, try to select this, use WSL2. Otherwise, your system gets slow. Okay, otherwise your system gets slow. And as well as that, don't make your boot project. Okay, don't make your Docker as. Okay, so when you start a system, right, start from a beginning itself. Don't do like that because Docker will take a more memory. Okay, Docker will take a more memory. That's the reason, right? Don't do that.
Is it a client software or?
It's a client software.
Okay, what is the similar for Linux? Is it works only in Windows only? This
No. You can go ahead and install whatever you want. Here you see, right? Linux.
Okay.
Okay.
Is
for
that
Windows,
in the Linux? Is it in any something command line, or there also we can get some UI or GUI kind of some?
I'm using Windows, so I never try with the Linux environment. Okay.
I have a question too.
Yeah, mostly,
I joined late. Is it being recorded or no?
It's recorded and it's live streamed in YouTube also. The back what you want to see, you can go to our YouTube channel. There you can go on back.
Okay, all right, thank you.
For this entire course or else, I mean, recorded sessions we need to
it's
have.
a live stream. Okay, and whatever workshop which you are doing it, right, you will there in our Ashok IT YouTube channel.
For entire Docker course, it will be free for us.
So it's for only 2 hours. Okay.
Okay.
We are already running out of our time, so we'll see how much we can stretch it and do it.
Yeah, can you provide this documentation after completion of the?
Yes, so we have that WhatsApp chat, group, right? Join in that group. I'll share it with all the details in that WhatsApp group. Cool. Any other questions?
Go ahead.
Cool. So, yep, Docker. right? So this is the installation document, guys, how you need to do it. Okay, if it is a Windows, you can go and download from a Windows version. Okay, once you install, right, so make sure this is working. Okay, how you can check in this way, engine running or from a shortcuts. Okay, so anyhow, I'll share this doc in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so please join in that WhatsApp group. Cool. So once we install, right, how can we check whether it is installed or not? Okay, very simple. You can go to the command prompt. Okay, you can simply say docker-v. When you say docker-v, right, so it will show you the version. In that way, you can get to know. Otherwise, right, from a GUI. But in a CI/CD pipeline, right, mostly they'll go with the command prompts only. They won't have a possibility to use this UI, Docker for desktop. Okay, if it is a VM, then they have a possibility. Otherwise, right, they'll purely go on a command prompts. Okay, creating a image or creating a container, everything they'll go on a command prompt only. Okay, so I think in a Linux also it would be command prompt. I think there is no GUI over there. Cool. Let's close a couple of things. We understood, right? So whether the Docker is installed or not, you can go to the command prompt and see whether it is installed or not by using command prompt also by just pressing docker-v. This is the one way. Another way is that by using a GUI. Okay, cool. So if you want to stop the server, right, how can you stop? Okay, again, simple. Go to your shortcut. Okay, you just see quit Docker desktop. Okay, sometimes if you see some errors, again, what you can do, you can restart your server. Okay, all the steps, right, which you can see. Okay, and one more thing, right? Let's say you are connected to your company account. Okay, your company account, or you have your own personal account. You need to sign in, guys. You need to sign in. So what does mean of a sign in? Where do you need to have an account? Okay, so for that, right, you need to go to the Docker Hub. Okay, you need to go to the Docker Hub, create an account in a Docker. Okay, so once you created an account, I already created an account. That's the reason, right? You see, my account is open here. What is this Docker Hub? We will discuss. Okay, but create an account in a Docker Hub. Why we required, we will discuss. Okay, so create an account in a Docker Hub. So once you install a Docker, right, you will see here the sign in option. Okay, as I already signed in, right, it's not showing for me. Okay, so if you it is the first time, right, go over here and sign in. Once you click on a sign in, it will land into hub.docker.com. There you can log in. Okay, if you don't have an account, create over there. Okay, what is this Docker Hub? Okay, now just imagine Git. What is Git? Someone can tell what is Git?
Git is like a
Version
repository. It's like a way for many people, many developers to work together on a project, like by uploading them to GitHub, working within a local machine.
Control.
Version control.
Version control.
Version control.
Version
Similar
control,
way,
yeah.
just correlate with github.com into your hub.docker.com. Simple. Because so here you have a repositories. Here also you have a repositories. Okay, simple. Okay, here we have a repositories. Here also we have a repositories. So how you will push the code to Git? Similar way, we will push our images. Okay, so we'll push our images. Similar way, how you pull the code. Okay, from a GitHub to local. So same thing we do here. Okay, let's pull one code and see how it works in our local. Then we can get a much better idea. Okay, understood? So Docker Hub is again one portal where it contains all our images. Okay, all our repositories. Repositories is nothing but images only. Okay, so we'll see all images and we can pull it or we can push it. Similar way how it works in a GitHub. Okay, GitHub we can create a repository, we can push our code, we can pull our code, same thing. Okay, now let's take our Angular repo or Angular image and run it. Okay, so in our PPT I mentioned one simple image for you. Okay, let's see. This is one Angular repo. Okay, so before that, right, let's test whether I install the Angular or not. Anyone, how to test whether Angular is installed or not?
Docker.
ng-v.
-v. If I run it, if I got the version, that means Angular is installed. Okay, as I didn't get it right, that means Angular is not installed. Okay, now what I'm trying to do, so there is one open source one, okay, Angular app which is developed by one person. Now I'm going to take this image, nothing but the executable code. What is image? Which is executable code. Okay, so taking this image into my local, okay, running the application. So if it works, then we are good with a Docker problem statement. We are able to solve it. Okay, now I'm going to pull the code. You see, Docker pull. What is the URL? As this, simple. Okay, you have a command, Docker pull. Now what I can do, I can go to my command prompt. Okay, so I can just simply run this. Once I install the Docker, right, automatically you'll get it work. Okay, now it will get cloned into your local. Where it will get cloned? Into your Docker. Okay.
So, sir, like with this command, we are pulling out the image which is already built in and published by someone.
Yes. Okay. Similar thing in GitHub, right? What we can do with the GitHub? So let's say if you have access to the particular repository, you can go and clone the code or pull the code. Yes or no? Similar way, we are doing it. But so in a GitHub, you will see the actual code, but in a hub.com or hub.docker.com, you can see executable code. Okay, not the whole code.
Which means Docker image is nothing but a environment along with application all with the dependency already created. We just pull in and run on any of the environment, irrespective of or taking care of the dependencies and all.
Yes, which is just executable code. So you don't need a Node.js or you don't need an Angular in your local. Okay, because it is executable, right? It will directly work. But for this one also, you need some setup, right? That setup will already taken care by the Docker image. Okay, I'll show you one. Okay, one of a Docker file, you'll get an idea. First of all, let's execute this. Whether we're able to satisfy or not, how we are able to satisfy, we'll see.
So this image is completely now downloaded into local and stored in local?
Yes. Okay, fine. So, proper Docker image, right, will contain, all the Docker steps, how to run the project and everything it will contain. Similarly, you need to do, whenever you push something, right, to the Docker hub, you need to give proper documentation. Okay, now what we did, we pull the code. Okay, how to start the server or how to start the container? Simple. You see the commands? Okay, in this way, we need to run. Now, we download it. Here you can see Docker pull and the versions. Okay, now I just simply run this. Okay, now I can go to my desktop, Docker desktop, and see whether it is running it or not. Okay, in the containers, right? I see, okay, it is running. Okay, if you click on this icon, right, it will open a browser and it will show you the Angular code.
So one quick question.
Tell me.
Can I ask you? So in the environment which is being created, like for the Angular application, there must be some OS, there must be some web servers. So does it also cautiously we need to take care of the licensing and all, or I would say in such cases we go for free build and that's the reason it's public. For example, Linux is freeware or something like that. I hope.
So when you made a public, right, that means you need to use the public, code only. So you can't make it a private into public, right? Let's say you have a license of a high chart. You can't expose the license to, public. It's a violation. Okay, of course you want to make it, you can, because high chart people will, track of the license who is using it. Okay.
Okay, same goes with Windows, sir. So for example, is this images must be using Linux only?
It's up to you. Okay, how the Docker built it, right? So it is compatible for, either you can go for Windows or you can go for a Ubuntu. Okay, that's up to you. But the logic what we written, right, that is important. Now, this is an Angular application. Okay, so though we don't have any Angular setup in our local, we are able to run it. Okay, so that is how this guy, okay, who are the repo which you are using it, right? That's how this guy written it. Okay, we'll also see how we can return our own. Got it? Any questions?
Yes.
Cool. So are we good? So what we did? So we clone the code, or we just clone the image. Image is nothing but what? Executable code, guys. Simple. Okay, executable code. Once we take into our local, we call that same image as container, because image, which is a place where we can push it to our hub. Okay, so container which will execute in our local code. Okay, so we have pure, theory, guys. No, don't worry about the theory. Okay, I'll explain it. But you guys understood, right? So though we don't have an Angular app or ng installed in our local, we are able to install, or we are able to run application. Okay, how we are able to do it? Simply we clone the Angular app image and started the server. It's working. What is this command? Okay, how did this got started? That part we'll see. Okay, cool. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I have a question, but this question is going to be at the end of the session. As of today, Docker is the best in the market for deploying like applications, or there is another one? I just want to have an idea, because I know you have an idea about many type of software or platform like a Docker for deploying applications.
Yes, we have a couple of alternatives for a Docker, but Docker is leading. Okay,
Okay, so right now Docker is leading, is like number one.
Yes.
Okay, because I heard about AWS too. You can use the cloud. I don't know if the cloud is leading or if Docker is leading.
Each cloud can contain a Docker, because Docker is not specific to one cloud. Okay, Docker is a software which can be installed into AWS. It can be installed into Azure.
All right, thank you.
Okay, well, let's take a 10 minutes of a break, guys. Okay, so I think we can extend the session. Okay, because we haven't done the our React app into Dockerize. That part we'll see, and as well as that we'll discuss these commands and how to create a Docker file. That is also we'll discuss. For the meantime, right, let's take a 10 minutes of a break, then we can get started.
Yeah, Venkat, is this today, or it's like a 10 days or something?
No, it's just a 1 day of a workshop. Okay, where we are making our Docker, where we are making our React into Dockerize.
Okay. Yeah, when I get the invitation, as a meeting, it's showing 10 days or something.
No, that's by default. Zoom will do it. Okay, how to set up what the admin people given, right? They follow it. Okay, we'll take a 10 minutes of a break, guys. Okay, then we can get started again. Okay, so we'll discuss the commands and as well as what is a Docker file, how to do it, React application into Dockerize.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, one question I have. Sir, can I put the question in chat box?
You can. You can.
Okay.
So meantime, right, if you have any questions, right, put it in a Docker the chat.
Venkat, when you're going to start the React coaching again, I mean, you're going to teach the React, right? So when you're going to start the next batch, or currently batch can we apply?
See, current batch we are discussing, at the end of it. That means we are done with the React routing. We're going to discuss about state management. Okay, whatever project which I showed you, right, the single page application, that is the build it in our course only. Okay, and right, so today also we have one project session. So giving some brief, right, how our React course will go on. Okay, so we will discuss everything into real-time use cases, and we do a practice. Okay, and Saturday, Sundays, right, it's Monday to Friday our regular sessions. Okay, and Saturday is a recap session what we discuss from Monday to Friday. And Sunday would be
when you're going to start the new batch?
I'm going to tell it. Okay, so Sunday would be our project. Okay, so today also we have a project session for our current batch. We are going to discuss cloud applications. Okay, how do we cloud? The new batch what we're going to start at, right, maybe in a couple of days or first week of August, that is in the morning time. Okay, probably it would be 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Okay, join our WhatsApp group. So there you will get to know. So when we're gonna start it and what are the timings of it, you will get to know.
Do you have any idea about the cost price?
Our admin team will tell you on it.
Okay.
Cool.
This one.
Any questions?
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Sir, please can you tell me how I will do? Actually, Spring Boot program I did and Redis also. But in Docker, how I will do, sir? Means I have to install JDK and I give some path like that. Anything? Means
Dockerizing Spring Boot application. What you mean?
yes, sir.
Okay, so that will take some time. So if possible, it at the I'll tell at the end.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yep. Guys, I'm muting it. Okay, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Guys, I'm back. If you have any question, you can get started. Okay, cool. Everyone back from our break. Please respond.
Yeah, we are back.
Good.
Yes, we are back.
Good. Okay, what we're discussing so far, what we discussed, guys. So we discussed about what is React, okay, how it works, and how we can create a project. That part which we discussed, and next we started about what is Docker, what is advantage of a Docker, how we can solve a problem. Okay, how to install the Docker, that is also we see. Okay, now right, So we seen an example that without installing Angular, how we can run a Angular. Okay, if you see this Docker, right, this Docker hub, what it's saying, Node 10. That means this Angular app which is built on top of a Node 10. Though I don't have a Node 10, okay, I'm able to run because so it given a executable code. Okay, I'm able to run. Okay, let's make our application, okay, which is Dockerize, or which is a container and image, and publish into hub. So whoever want to take the code, right, they can take it from our Docker hub. Okay, they can install in our code. Okay, let's see that how we can do it. Fine. So further down also, right, I created a document. Okay, so anyhow I'll share this document. We can see. Okay, first of all, right, any of application, if you want to make a Docker, before that, right, I'll give you some brief about what is container. Okay, some theory. Okay, I missed this, and what is a Docker architecture, that is also I'll tell. Okay, so first of all, Docker engine. Okay, so that means, so we discuss, right, so we're going to execute our code. Okay, where it will get executed. Okay, where it will create the project. Okay, or no, let me explain one pack, docker.json, then you will get an idea. Now tell me, what is this, guys? What are these commands? So someone can tell it, what are these all commands? Just tell me, what is this npm install?
Node package manager installation.
Okay, that means whatever packages we start there in a package.json, right? Those are going to be installed. What is this npm run build? So we are building our version or code into production ready mode. Okay, so that's what. And when we are starting a server, which simply say npm run start. So looks like these are the commands what we usually run, right, in our regular basis. Okay, now I'll explain this Docker file, then you'll get an idea, okay, how it is working internally. So then we'll discuss some more theory of it. Okay, first of all, right, so to run your Docker file or to make it your code into containerization, right, so whatever required dependencies you need it, right, you need to tell everything in a Docker file. Okay, what is that? So let's say you want to do a Dockerize, you need to create a file called Dockerize. Okay, in this way you need to get, I think spelling wrong, Docker file, sorry. You need to create a file. Again spelling wrong.
Venkat,
File.
hello.
Tell me.
I have one doubt. It's not related with the Docker. Actually, I just interacted with your Ashok IT, is one of the, executives. So he mentioned that might be next month, August 5th onwards, might be the batch will be conducted by you. React application. So, like, I want to ask you, like, are you going to develop the same website you showed to me before, like current batch is development, the same site? Are you going to teach us on the next batch, or are you going to develop in a different site?
It can be different site. Okay, it's not the same what we developed. Okay, so you see, it's all depends on a flow, guys. Okay, it's not that what I come up and show it to you. Okay.
No. Actually, the cost price for videos, already recorded sessions. You people going to give it to me for a different session might be different.
I understand your point.
Yes,
So, so if you already have a, see, there is a more of an open forum. Okay, you can go to YouTube and a lot of us stuff. Why we are coming to the person in interactive session, because we supposed to see where is the problem. Okay, when we're writing the code only we'll get to know. If I already have a ready-made code and show it to you, you don't get it. So we do the similar thing. Okay, sometimes I'll also get stuck in writing a code because we are writing. Okay, so how we are solving that is also important. If I show you the only positive cases, what about negative? That's also required. That's the reason, right? In our session, we do everything from a scratch. Okay, so how I demoed today, the starting of a project, similar way we do. Okay.
Okay.
So who are interested, right? So you can contact to the admin team and they'll respond to you whenever they're starting a batch. The tentatively batch is getting started in the first week by the morning hours. Okay, right. Moving into Docker. Right. So see, so to Dockerize your code, right? First of all, we need to create a file called Docker file. So what we need to do? We need to mention Docker file. Now, right, in a Docker file, whatever the steps, okay, which you want to run your application, okay, everything you need to mention. First of all, from. Okay, first of all is from. What does mean of this from? Okay, from is one is a base image. One is a base image. That means, let's say I would like to install my packages on a top of Node 14 or on a top of Node 16. So I need to mention over there. I need to mention over here. Let's say from Node. Which version of a Node you want to go? Okay, how will I get to know? Okay, which version or which image I want to go? Again, you can go to the Docker Hub. Here you can search. Okay, so if you would like to go ahead with a Ubuntu, right? You can search here as a Ubuntu. Okay, if the respective package is available, okay, you can use that Ubuntu package. Okay, so in a GitHub, right, you might see a stars, which indicates that which is more widely used. Similar way here also, you can see the arrow icon, right, which is pull, most popular pull or most star. In that way, you can see. Okay, now right, in our use case, we mentioned node hyphen, okay, or colon 14. That means node version which we are using 14. Okay, now so we are setting a working directory called app. Now we are copying that working directory. Okay, so that means whatever we have a package or JSON, right, we are moving into app. We are moving into app folder. Now, so once we move our code into app folder, we are doing a npm install. Okay, because it will download all the dependencies, whatever it is there in a package.json. Okay, now copying our code into again the Docker file. Okay, so from a source to two dots means source to destination. Source to destination. Once we did all this, so that means our Docker file, our container contains the code and npm modules, node modules. Then what we do? npm run build. That means we are building our production ready code. We are running the production ready code and exposing the server. That means in which port you want to start your server. That part you are doing it. Once this is done, okay, you can simply start your server. You can simply start your. This is what we usually do in our local. Similar way, but instead of running our local code, we are moving the code into Docker. We are moving the code into Docker. Now our code will execute it in Docker file. That Docker file we call it as container, which is executable. Okay, which is executable. Now, if you start your container, your code will execute whatever which you written, right? That will get executed irrespective of your local dependencies. That means, let's say here you see 14, but in my local, right? Okay, node hyphen v. In my local, I see 16, but the code, whatever which I'm going to run in a container, right? It follows the 14 of a node version. 14 of node version. That's what we're gonna see. So where this all process will get run. Okay, that is what we're gonna define in this architecture. Okay, now we discussed the right Docker file. So we mentioned the node version. Okay, we'll run npm run build, npm install. So everything going to run it in our Docker. This Docker host will take care of it. Okay, so based on your images, we see, right, in our code we see a base image. Base image nothing but we are pulling the image. Okay, instead of our local code or local versioning, we are taking from a reference. Okay, so the base images will take it and run your code into your Docker. That will prepare as a one container. Container meant as what? As per your Docker, it will create an executable code. That is what we call it as container. Okay, if you push this container right to your repository, okay, that will goes to your Docker hub. It will goes to your Docker hub. What are the commands which you do locally? So you will build the you will build the container, you will run the container. Okay, so this is in short Docker architecture. Okay, so everything will be happening where your Docker. Okay, we technically call it as Docker domain. You see? Okay, this will take care of executing your Docker file. How it will execute, we'll see. Okay, now let's go to the theory. So this is what Docker engine. Whatever we discussed so far, right, can be handled with Docker engine. Okay, the building of it and downloading the images. Okay, the processing of a Docker file into container can be taken care by the engine. So this engine will provide REST endpoints also. That means from a UI also, or from your custom application also, you can run the commands. That means here is GUI, right? You see, this can be taken by your Docker engine only. Okay, here I can stop the server. Okay, here I can play the server. Okay, who will take care of your Docker engine? Will take care of it. Okay, fine. Docker image. You see, just can we read it? A Docker image is a lightweighted and standalone executable software package that contains everything needed, okay, to run your application, which includes code, runtime, okay, libraries, and system tool. Images are built in, okay, from the set of instructions specified by the Docker files. That means whatever we discussed so far, these Docker files will contain all the instructions. Okay, so how to run and what is the port, okay, what is the environment. When we are going into our React routing, right, or React application, we have these steps. When you go with a Spring Boot, these steps would be differ, because let's say in a Spring Boot application, if you contain connection from a MySQL, again you need a base image of a MySQL, or if you have a PLSQL, you need to mention here. Sorry, not PLSQL, Postgres. Okay, so those what everything you need to mention your Docker file. What did this mean of image? So whatever set of instruction which you said, based on that your image will get prepared, which is lightweighted and executable software. Executable software. What is Docker container? A Docker container is a running instance of image. Okay, that means you have an image, okay, so which contains all your code. Who will run it? So the running part we call it as Docker container. Okay, first in our code we'll create a container which is running instance, then we'll push it. That is what we call it as image. Okay, next one is Docker file. Docker file is a text file which contains all of our steps, which contains the all our steps, whatever we seen here, right? This is called Docker file. Okay, so for sure, right, you should have only one Docker file. Of course, sometimes you can contain a multiple Docker files also with a different name. Okay, how we point multiple Docker file, right? That is also easy. Okay, next one is Docker Compose. Let's say you have a multiple Docker, as someone asked, right? I have a one Docker for a UI and I have another Docker for a server, or I have a different microservices. How I can make it a Docker, how I can make it, in a one file to be executable with a different ports. Those all the stuff we can do with Docker Compose. What it does? So Docker Compose is a tool that allows you to define multi-container applications. Multi-container application, then we go with the Docker Compose. But as of now, we are going with only one node. So that means we are Dockerizing the React app. That's the reason we are going with the Docker. Yeah, how can we decide node version like 14? See, it all depends on your state of a development, guys. So that means, let's say I am developing an application, which is today, then I can go with the latest version. Okay, let's say you started a project 2 years back or 5 years back. At that time, whatever version which is there, you can go ahead. You can't directly upgrade from 14 to 18, right? Then what will happen? There's a problem. Okay, because you guys know, right, what is version conflicts or version upgrade problems. Anyone?
Yeah, if you directly upgrade, there may be some features which are incompatible, which may be working in previous, may not work in the latest. There might be syntax changes. So all of that might create, it might just not that we upgrade the node or the NPM or the Angular or React. We have to also make some compatible changes with the code also. So
yes, that's a problem. So that's the reason, right? So we go with the normal version, as I told you in one of the use case, right? So Lakshman using a React 14 because he's working on a multi-project project, but the project requirement is what, use 16. Okay. So in that case, right, we'll stick to our Docker file with a one specific version, which can be run for everyone, which is similar to the version. Okay, cool. So far clear the terminology. What is Docker engine, image, container? Any questions on it? Okay, considering yes. So 15 more minutes, guys. So we'll wrap up. Okay. So far we discussed more of a theory, how to Dockerize our application, right? We will see now. Okay, let's go to the static website. So I already created one simple website. So we'll host this, okay, into our Docker and then image push it to our repo. So that part we'll see now. Okay, so I have already one website, static website. This is a static website. Okay, if you click right, you see it's getting navigated, which is again built on a purely HTML, Bootstrap and all. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna make this Dockerize. Okay, how to do this Dockerize? Simply go to the code. Okay, add a file called Dockerize. Okay, Docker file, simple. Okay, once you made a Docker file, okay, in this code, right, you can write the instructions. So now you have the static website where you want to deploy. You can deploy any of a server, right? It can be Apache server, it can be NG server, okay, or it can be whatever server. Okay, it can be Node server also. Let's say we go ahead with the NG-Unix. The base image is what? NG-Unix. That means I would like to use the NG-Unix server. Okay, so as per the NG-Unix, right? So it has one root folder. Okay, it has one root folder. This is the root folder. Okay, now what I'd like to do, whenever I'm creating a container, right? So what I would like to do, I'd like to copy my whole code into my NG-Unix server. NG-Unix server. This is the root folder. Okay, so once we did this, right, we need to build our Docker. We need to build our Docker. Now I mentioned everything into this document. Anyhow, I will share it. Okay, where you need to write it. Okay, what is the Docker file? Okay, what you need to write in a Docker file with the steps, right? I written out here. Okay, so now we written in a Docker file. What is the next step, guys? We need to run or we need to build our Docker file. How we can do? We can go to our command prompt. We can go to our command prompt here, right? So whatever the command which we have it, simply what is that? Docker build which file? Okay, which file? Okay, let's say if you don't want to follow specific file, if you would like to go ahead with the default file, right, you can directly remove that. You can simply say docker build. What is this -t? -t is nothing but tagging. What is your container name? What is your container name? That's what you need to tell. Here you can give anything, not only project name. You can give anything whichever you want, but it's supposed to be meaningful. Or you want to give it the version, right? You're supposed to tell :-v1 :-v1. Now with the help of this name, right, it will create a container. This means this is your source and this is your target. Okay, let's see now. So let's run this. What is that? Docker, okay, build. So I would like to go with the direct file. That's the reason I'm not telling the file name here. So what is the name? Slick OPL. I would like to go with a V1. Then I'll simply run this. Okay, you see now what's happening? It's taking the base server or base image from my NG-Unix and copying this file. Okay, copying this file from a source to destination. What is the destination? As per NG-Unix server, right? So this is going to be our root directory. Okay, this is going to be root directory. Now all our files, whatever the CSS, images, font, everything going to be in our NG-Unix server, and it's going to be create a one container which name as slick-opl v1. Slick hyphen. Okay, so this is our name. Yep, it's created. You see, exporting images, exporting layers, everything. Okay, to see the list of containers in our local, we have one more command called docker ps. Okay, docker ps. Okay, done. So we build the Docker. we created a Docker file. Now we would like to run it. We'd like to
Sir,
run
a quick question.
it.
Here for Nginx is a image name or the name of particular component also?
This one you're talking about?
No, from it's written Nginx. This is what I'm asking. Is this again a very base image or something like that? From Nginx.
It's a base image because so what is this Nginx? Nginx is a one server class.
Correct.
How you have Apache, no? How you have a Tomcat Apache? Similar way. Okay, now I'd like to host my code into Nginx server.
So till what level, OS or OS plus app or platform, which one we need to find out the right image and base image?
That's up to you. Let's say you have a requirement that where you want to run your code on a Ubuntu. Okay, so then you need to get the base image from a Ubuntu only.
Okay, so it is like a OS, still OS, we got it.
It's not only specific to OS. Okay, the platform can be Node.js, platform can be OS, the platform can be server. Okay.
Okay, if we choose a wrong then image, then the code won't be executed, right? Then
Obviously,
not.
no. So if you're not pointing to the right dependency, obviously it will get break. Got it? Yep. So now what we did, we just created a container. Okay, now I'm going to run the container. How to run the container? So you see Docker run with a dependency, okay, as well as -p, nothing but port. Okay, so this is going to be, your what I can say, target port. This is your source port. Okay, we'll get to know what is this target port, source port, right? When we are starting a React application, because here it's not a a plain HTML, right? So that's the reason, no worry about it. We can give a 8080 here, right? We need to give a whatever container name which we given over here. Okay, which we go on here. Now, so what we given over here while running, this is what, right? Let's use this. We'll run the Docker run -d -p 80:80 and our name. Okay, our name done. Now once we click on it, right? In programmatic external configure endpoint, what is the problem? Did I miss something? Driver for programmatic external configure endpoint session. What is already allocated? You see? Okay,
Yes.
let's stop it. Yeah, there's already one application. We see Angular is running, right? That's the reason. Let's stop it.
Otherwise, we can change the Docker command run port, right?
We can change it. We can go ahead with the 90, okay, or 70. That's up to us. Okay. Now you can go to the your Docker GUI. Here you can see one application is already running. That is a Slick OPL. Now go to the UI. You can see your application. Okay. Now do you see? We got it. Okay, now, right, so whatever application which we created, that is running in an Nginx server, not in our local server. Okay, not in our local server. Now, so we created a container, it's working fine. So now I would like to push this one into my remote nothing but hub.docker.com. How can I do that? Okay, so that is also mentioned over here. You can see Docker commit. Okay, Docker commit, how we commit our Git code, similar way. Okay, so but here, right, you need to mention your container ID. You need to mention your container ID. Let's see now. Okay, how do we get a container ID? Okay, so again further, right, we have a command Docker ps. You see, this is the container ID. Okay, so by using a Docker ps, what we can get to know, the list of images which are running. Okay, what is that image ID? Okay, so what is the container ID? We can get to know. Okay, what is the expectation now? I would like to commit my Docker where I can access into my hub.docker.com so that others can also access it. Okay, what is that command? Docker container commit. I'd like to commit my container commit. What is my commit ID? This is my commit ID. Okay, and my image name slick OPL colon V1. Now once you run it, right, it will get commit. What is the next step? You need to tag the project because we would like to maintain a versioning, right? That's the reason we need to tag it. Okay, so here you see, right, name. Okay, so this is what my repository, nothing but the logged in account. Okay, if I give a wrong name, then it will give an error because let's say it is a private repository. So you're trying to access it without a permission. It will give a denied message. It will give a denied message. Let's tag it now. Okay, how to do it? So we have one more command called react tag. Okay, react tag. So our image name. What is our local image name? So where you want to push it? Okay, so that name you need to give it 669. Okay, so what name you want to call on a remote server? That is also you need to mention here. Okay, if you see here, so Docker tag our local name and our remote name. Okay, that is also we need to give it. Now done. Okay, we don't see any error. It's created. Next one, push the Docker image. Push the Docker image. Now we'll just go to Docker Hub and see. Do I have any repositories or not? Go to repositories. I don't see any repositories. Don't see any repositories. Now I would like to push the, my repository. What is the command? Docker push. Go to the command prompt. Docker push. What name which we given while we tagging it? This is one, right? Now paste it and push. Now what will happen? Whatever container which you created as per the configuration, right? That goes to our hub.docker.com. Okay, hub.docker.com.
So, sir, which means here we have created our new image upon
Yes.
engines which contain our code also.
Yes, which contains our code also. Okay, now if you go to our repository, you can see our code.
Do we need to push the image or container to the hub?
We need to push our image. Again, it contains the container also.
Okay.
Okay, you see the code. Now, so being it is open for everyone, right? So they can clone it. How to clone it? We already know it, right? For a public view, how it is visible for others. Okay, you see Docker pull. If you run this command, once you install the Docker, right, you'll see, the executable code of us. Okay, executable code of us. Clear?
So can we see the image of Nginx which we have created? I just want to know on which OS this Nginx
That's that's an image, right? We can't see the code. It's a kind of a software. If you understand the Nginx, right, it's a server.
I do agree, sir, but that sir must be running on OS, some OS. So I'm just very curious to know. It must be Linux, I would say, because might be Windows.
When you install in your local, right, it will work on your Windows.
Correct, sir.
Okay.
But it's a part of image now.
It's a part of image which works on in a Docker file. So Docker internally follows Ubuntu.
Okay.
Okay.
So which means
Docker
it must be working on Ubuntu.
Yeah, it will create a small shell. Okay, with a Ubuntu, because see, Windows is more heavy weighted. No, Linux is very light weighted. So that's the reason, right? Docker internally follows Ubuntu. Cool. So far good. What we did, guys? So we made one of a Dockerization of a static website. Okay, static website. Let's see how we can make a Dockerize the React application. Okay, so far good. Any questions? Cool.
Hello, sir.
Yep, tell me.
Sir, one question. Sir, go to just a Docker file. We are write 2-line code now that from that one I want.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, in Nginx server, we can any program it will run, means like .NET, PHP, Spring Boot, all program it will run.
It will. It's a server. Okay.
Okay.
It will.
So, then, sir, another question. Copy dot means our current directory, means this silk underscore OPL, right?
Yes.
Then, sir, /us sir share Nginx, this sir where coming?
Okay, this is meant it is in your Nginx server.
Yeah.
Okay, so these folders will contain. Okay. So what we are trying to do, so the copying all the files into this folder.
Okay, sir.
Okay, nginx server. Let's see if you go to the Tomcat, right? So you'll see Tomcat config bin. So you will might place the folders in a bin folder.
Yes.
Similar way in a nginx, this is the root path to start your server. Got it?
So our means in Tomcat servers are we are create means there one web app folder is there. Our all project we have to create there, right, sir?
Yes.
So like that in nginx usr/share /nginx one folder is there. There we have to copy our HTML page, whatever we are creating static page, right?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, sir.
Cool. So now let's Dockerize the React application. Okay. Okay. So same. Let's make this application React SPA. Let's open this in a VS Code. Opening in a VS Code. Opening in a VS Code. Now, if you want to Dockerize, what we need to do, guys? Tell me. First of all, we need to create a file called
Docker file.
Docker file. In the Docker file, whatever steps which we required. Okay, those all the steps which we need to tell. First step is what? We required Node.js.
Base.
Next one is what? So based on a package.json, that means we need to move our package.json and install the dependencies. Okay, that is the third step, npm install. Once we install, what we need to do? We need to start our server. This is our step, right? What we do in our local, right? Those all the steps, right, which you need to write, which Docker understandable format. Docker understandable format we need to write. Okay, so we are making our Docker file, which is common for across all the developers. That's the reason that we stick to one specific version. We should stick to one specific version. Now you can tell which version you want to go. Whether it is a 14, 13, whichever version, right, you want to go, you can mention. Okay, in your Docker file, right? You see, I mentioned here node:14 alpha line. That means alpha means what? What is the difference between alpha and beta? In a versions point of view, guys, tell me.
Pre-release.
Yep. Okay. So early release what? Okay, is a beta. Early release is what? Beta. Whenever it is a stable, right, we call it as alpha. Okay. So the base image is node because we would like to run our code in a Docker with using node 14. Okay, so it depends on you. Let's say if you would like to stick to the 16 or 18, right, you can mention the version here. Okay, now whatever code, okay, which you would like to copy it, right, into app folder, that's the reason, right, setting a work dir, work directory. So stick to the app. Okay, stick to the app. Next one, what is the next step? Copy the package.json into app folder. Copy the package.json into app folder. Copy. Okay, so package.json into dot. That means the working directory it will take. Okay, but if you see here, we are using a star package star.json. That what does mean, guys? It will consider prefix as a package and suffix as JSON. Between this package and .json, if anything is there, right, that is also will get considered. Okay, that means package -log also consider, package.json also consider. If your expectation is that copy all of them, right, use this star, which start with the prefix as a package and suffix as JSON. Okay, what is the next step? Yes, we copied package.json. Next step is npm.
Hello, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, one question. Sir, that work dir/app that will be already there by default or user it will create?
Which one?
That second line, sir. Work dir.
Work directory. So
yeah,
this won't be there by default. Okay, what we are trying to do in a Docker engine, right? We would like to create a file called a folder called app. Okay, that app going to contain our code.
Okay, means we are created, sir. User developer will create.
Yes.
Sir, it will give any name. I will give any name there.
You can give any name, no problem at all.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Let's go with that. Now, so done. NPM install will happen. You can change the steps, guys. Just for the quick purpose, it's written like this, but you can change it. First of all, you can copy the whole code. That means let's do copy dot. What does mean? Your current directory, whatever it contains, right? It will copy to your work directory called app. Okay. In this way also do. Once you copied everything, then you can do a npm install. Then you can run npm run build also you can. Okay, we are done with npm run build. Next, set up the environment into production. This is not required. We are going to purely React now. Then it is not required. And expose is required, guys. What is this expose? Expose when it has when you start your server, which port you want to consider. You start your server, which port you want to consider. That one you can set. Okay, now we just simply start command npm start. npm start. This is the Docker file to execute our container or to create our container. Okay, how to build it? Again, Docker build. I would like to take a by default file. Then that means I don't need to tell the file name. I can simply say T, the tag name. Okay, or this container name, React or SPA React V1. Okay, what is the problem? Expert on argument. Okay, it's a dot. You see, it's building. Okay, it's building as per our node version. What it will do, right? While building, it will take a base image as a node 14, copy the files and do a npm install and do a npm run build. Everything it will do for that time, right? So for that, see how it is executing internally. Again, I mentioned all the steps here, guys.
Sir, if I not set up the environment, then by default, it running on local.
No, this one you're talking about, line number 20.
Yes.
No, it's optional, guys. Set a production environment when it goes to React, right? If you would like to use these variables in your code, then you need to set. At present in our code, no, I'm not using this node environment. That's the reason I didn't write it. You got it? So based on a production environment point, right? I'd like to change some code in my logic. Okay, then I'll use it as a the application, right? It is SPA. I didn't write that logic. That's the reason I'm not using it. Okay, it's taking some time. Being it is the first time, right? It will take because it need to download the node and it need to download all the dependencies, right? It will take. But from a second time, right? It don't take that much of a time because as it is already created.
I had one doubt, like when we are copying the whole source code to the working directory, then why we again need the other copy of package.json?
Other copy of package. Come again, because here we are going to execute our code, no? On a node 14, we are going to execute our code. We are checking that whether it is compatible to 14 or not. That's a one use case. Another use case that, right? We are preparing a build which is compatible to 14 only. Okay. For that reason, right? We are copying the whole code into our Docker and doing the steps in a Docker itself, not in our local. Got it? Raju, you got it, or do you have any question? Okay. And one more thing, right? So let's say, see, if you see this approach, right, what we are trying to do, we are copying the whole code, right? Okay. So when we think about in a production ready code, okay, do we require all the source code or we require only build files? Anyone? When you go for
only build file. All code.
Why we require all code?
Why? Because we need some dependencies. Everything is there in all file only.
Yes, okay, that's
So
true.
that's
But let's say the use case is that I would like to deploy in a different environment. That's it. Like to deploy in a different environment. So in that case, right, to minimize this number of installation and all the stuff, what we can do, we can copy only build files. Okay, that means whatever npm install and whatever the steps which we required, right, we can do it in our local itself, or we can do it in a Jenkins itself. But the image going to contain what? Only the build files. It will work, it will install everything, but it won't get copied. Okay, this step, right, going to be changed. So everything would be the same, but this step going to be changed. Okay, so that is also mentioned here. You can give a try on it. Okay, so npm install, everything will go on, but the process, the copy process will get changed. Okay, because in a production, right, it's not important to copy the code. Okay, and there is one more way also. So once you build this, you can see the whole code also.
Hello.
Yep.
Sir, sir, for you are running a React application here. So we are run then npm run install npm run build.
Yes.
So sir, Angular also same we are right here. These two steps.
Similar way only.
Same only.
Not same, similar, because
Okay, means there we are right ng.
Yes.
Ng run install, ng run build.
Yes, in Angular we have a ng server production, or if you want to customize it, in AOT mode also you can specify.
Okay. Sir, for Spring Boot, whatever what we are right here, sir, in this run command.
That's up to your server. If it is a plain Spring Boot application, then you can simply start your server.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's say if you have a use case to connect to the SQL, okay,
yes,
you need to add an image first of all, because we have a dependency, right? So that one, another one, when you start a server, MySQL or PL Postgres, again you need to tell the port number, okay, which need to be connected. Those everything you need to mention in Docker file. Okay.
And sir, in CMD, we are writing double quote npm and start. There, all commands are different there, right, sir? Based upon our language.
Yes, based on, because as we are using a React with Node.js, I just started with the npm run start.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Copying the files. Yep. So let's see. So far what it is done, just downloading the base image, it is done. Okay. Now copying the files into working directory. First time to take the this much of a time, but later on it won't take. See now npm install. What is the problem here? Error missing script. It's npm install. Now why we require npm run? I made a wrong. Just npm install.
Sir, one question, sir. Hello. Hello.
Yes, tell me. But I was on mute.
Sir, in Angular or React, we are write program, after that we are run. Suppose npm start, we are getting output in React. Okay, sir. Sir, then why we are go for Docker? Means how we are getting your benefit or any advantage is there. So same things here also we are get output, right? But we are write some Docker file and all those things. And
Okay,
then
we discussed the problem statement, right? So if you see, remember, or if you remember, right, without having a Angular in my local, I'm able to run Angular code.
Yes, sir.
How I'm able to do? Because Docker has that provision. Okay, now what we are trying to do? So let's say the whole code we are moving into Docker. We are running over a Docker and giving image to everyone. Now, whoever take that image, they can run the code. Okay, they don't need to install the Node.js or they don't need to install the React, nothing. They can start executing it. Okay, as I told you, right, let's say I need to give out demo today at 5 p.m. Okay, by the 5 p.m., right? So 4:30 p.m. my code is working. After 4:30, all of a sudden it got broken. What should I do now? You're getting right? One of simple use case what we do now, the real time. So then, so due to various reasons, my local got broken. Okay, if I ask someone to demo it, their local setup might be different. Okay, then what they will do, if you go with a Docker, we'll run the Docker and ready to for the image. Whoever want to take the demo, right? They can take an image and just start running it. They don't need a local setup for it. They just need a Docker.
Yes.
Got it? There's a lot of advantages. One advantage which I told you, that is version. Another thing, right? Once you create the image, okay, you can use that image to deploy in multiple environments. Okay, you don't need to do all the stuff what we are trying to do now. This all the npm install, copying it, it's not required. Okay, just image is required. Okay, why? Because your image going to contain your build code, executable code. Okay, that is a Spring or whatever. Okay, we're just dockerizing the React code. Similar way, you can play with your Spring code also, .NET code also. That's up to you. Still building, so done with the npm install, npm run. That means it's creating a build folder in that app folder.
So here we can run multiple versions also.
Multiple versions means what?
You suppose one different and package software is one version, and if you want to another instance with different version like another version, so we can run another Docker, right? I mean, another we can create Docker file and we can run that Docker.
Yes, we can. Let's say I would like to create an image with a Node 14. Another version I can create a Node 16. Okay, your code can be different. Okay, it maintains versioning, right? That's also possible. Yeah. So image is created. How to run it? Docker run. Okay. Now here the picture. So which port we given? 3000. Okay. So let's say I would like to run 8080. Okay. So here I would like to give this. Okay. What is my Docker name? What I given? Yeah. SPA React :v1. Spelling wrong.
Docker spell is wrong.
Yeah. There is a problem in code. While installing, right, it's had some problem. App
In line 15, you have declared like command npm space.
Again, we need to build it again. So whenever we do a changes, right, again we need to build it. I think this time it get faster because it has contained a package of JSON file now. Let's see.
Gas on cut. That one you did. Just you keep that kadai like that. That one just to reach something and doing it. And that I will Brother was go, then what I will do? Okay.
Right. So meantime, I'll tell you the steps. Okay. So once you added all of these steps, right, in your Docker file, okay, you need to build, okay, you need to build your code, okay, with a name, okay, whatever the Docker name, right, which you wanted, you can name it. Okay. Once you're done, right, so which port you want to go ahead. Okay. So let's say you like to go ahead with a 9090 or 8080 to run your Docker, but actual port which your application is running, right, you need to mention here. Okay, so this is your Docker port number. This is your Docker port number, and you would like to expose to which port number. That is what you need to tell here. Okay, once you are done, you can access with this localhost 80809090, whatever you give it to, right? You can give it. Okay, similar steps.
So if we get any image from hub, how do we know which port they're exposed in that image?
So for that, right, first of all, when you click on it, they'll give a documentation. I mean, you can see their Nginx server. You see, in your Docker GUI, if you click on their image, right, you'll see their Docker file.
Okay, we can see the definition of that image, how it is created. Okay.
Yes. So you can go over there and see the written. You see how they written. That way also you can understand. Okay. So what happened to this? Still it is installing.
So in our Docker desktop, how do we identify we created local images or we pulled from Docker Hub?
Here, right? So in a containers, you see the list of containers which is running, or you can stop it. And next one, that images. In images, you can see the local images which is running, okay, which you haven't pushed yet. Okay, if you logged in, right, you can see the remote repositories. Okay, in a remote repository, nothing but whatever I pushed it to my remote repository, or if I have a private account or corporate account, I can see list of remote repositories here. How your Git works, similar, guys. Okay, only difference, right? So there you see the source code, but here you see a build code. Okay, any other? Good. Is it done? Almost, yep. It's starting. Okay. React scripts.
So the container size depends on the image size, right? Then when
yes.
Okay.
If you see here, no, it's a 71 MB. It's a plain code, right? That's the reason. If you go and see this Angular code, right? This is also show.
You can see in that images, associate image.
So images. You see 31 MB. Because I think he pushed to only the build code. Okay. But you see ours 800 MB because we are taking Node.js server as well as we are putting what node modules also. Node modules would be very weighted, right? That's the reason you see this one. So that's the reason, right? When we are creating a production ready code, we'll push only build files. Okay, because someone to take this code, right? They need to 1 GB of a data.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the reason we push only production ready code. That means only build folder we will push. Okay.
And even we don't know what the content is, the secure or insecure content also, right? In the image.
Yes. Okay. So that's the reason that we go with the only build files. Yep. We started a server, go to the container, you see, go to the browser, you see, we got the application, which is containerized, not our local one. Okay. Not our local one. Okay. Which is running which version, guys? Which of node version? Node 14. Okay. Node 14. How to commit this one now? Okay, let's stop the server. What we can do now, we'll commit the code. Stop the server. Okay. What I would like to do, I'd like to commit. How to commit? Docker commit. Before that, I need image name, right? So for that, I need to use the Docker PS. We stop the
And
server.
ID.
Can't get to know. No, this one. I can select it. You know, from here also I can start the server. Okay, I can simply select start. Here also I can tell. You see, it's get it started. Go to the browser. It's taking some time to get started. In the containers, right? You can see that is getting running or not. Okay. Yep, it's running. So what I can do, I can go to the command prompt and simply run Docker PS. I can see the list of the container which are running. What is the command? Docker commit. Okay, so I can tell my commit ID and what is my image name. What is that? SPA-react-v1. Okay, I'm able to commit. Next one is what? I need to give a tag. Okay, Docker tag. Okay, SPA-react v1 is going to be Venkat ch 669 / SPA react v1. Okay, this is also got tag. Next one, Docker push. So what is the name which I given? 669 SPA react v1. Okay, even right, this push also or this tag also you can do on a grid UI also. Okay, let's say you can go to the images. Let's say if you already have it, right, you can push it. Push to hub. Okay, in this way also you can do it. Let's see, once it push, right, you can go to the repository and see.
So we can push to only our repo, right? Not others repo or public repo.
Obviously, right? How can you do others repo? It will say access denied because you already logged in, right? It's
We should need credentials only, right? Locally to log in.
Yes, once you logged in, then only you are able to push. That's the reason is the tagging is required.
Otherwise, it will override with the last push.
Okay. No, if you give a name, right? So every time you will maintain a version name v1, v2, v3. In that way, right? It will show you over here also. If you select here, okay, you see the versions. Okay, which OS you are running, what is the type, when someone pulled it, right? When they pulled it, all the statistics also you can see over here.
So without downloading here, we cannot see that Docker file of this one, right? Image.
Without downloading, when it has what? The code what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Without that, you can't see. So for sure, if you want to see the code over here, right? See, in a hub.docker.com, you don't have a possibility. If you want to see the code, you need to copy this code. Okay, I mean, pull the image into your local, then you can extract and do it also. Cool. Is it done? Still taking time because it's a very heavy file, right? Around 900 MB. It will take some time, but it will be available. Okay.
Sir, if it is possible to pushing custom image to in JFrog.
JFrog is Artifactory, no? Okay. I don't think so. Maybe I'm not sure.
It is possible to easier to pushing that image and all. In AWS.
It is possible because by then it's Artifactory, right? You can push your images into your Artifactory. You can download from Artifactory. That's your own storage. Okay. But I'm not sure that, but there is a possibility, I believe. but I'm not sure. Okay, so looks we are at the end of the session. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay, so as well as right, we have WhatsApp group. Please join in that. I'll share the code. Okay, as well as the material what we have, what I prepared. Okay,
so would be great if you can help me to understand a quick summary. Like first we have created took a base image from the Docker. We have created some code, then we build something and pushed into. So would be great if you can give a high level or bird eye view of the step. That will be really helpful for me to summarize and put it in my.
Yep, I'll do it.
Thank you.
So this is a WhatsApp, guys. Yep, this is a WhatsApp link. Okay, please join in that group. Okay, you can post questions if you have any over there, and I'll share the course this material whatever I prepared for containerizing the React and containerizing the static application. Right, I'll do it here. Okay, fine. So coming to the summarizing, right, what we discussed so far. So we discussed about now what is React. Okay, how to install the React app, that is we discussed, and then we discussed about Docker. What is a Docker? What is container? What is image? That part we discussed, and why we required a Docker. Okay, that is also we created. And when you want to Dockerize any of a code, it can be Spring Boot or it can be a static application. First of all, you need a Docker file. Okay, in a Docker file, whatever things which you require or whatever the steps or whatever the instructions you require, you need to write over here. Okay, let's say you want to run your React application on a specific version or specific platform. You need to tell it. Let's say I would like to use a Node 14. I mentioned here Node 14. Okay, I'd like to copy the whole code into image or a whole code into Docker and then run my code in a Docker with the version whatever I mentioned here. That's what the whole instruction is all about. So that's the reason. First of all, we created a working directory called app, and we mentioned copy the package.json or package.log.json into app folder, and next copy the whole code of us. Okay, this all node model, public SRC, everything into app folder. Then so how we done, usually npm install local, similar way we are doing a npm run in a app folder of a Docker. There once we install, we are running the npm run build. Okay, so that means we are making a production ready code. Okay, so then we are exposing the endpoint as a 3000. Okay, why we expose it as a 3000? By default, when we use the CRA, it follows the 3000. If you want to change the 3000, you can change it 4000 or 500, but you need to update your React scripts also according to the port version. Okay, if you tell 4000 here, in a React scripts also you need to tell port number is a 4000. Okay, so next we are starting the server. How we are running in a local, right? Similar way we are starting the server. Once we started the server, so what we need to do? Once we are done with all these steps, right? We need to build our Docker file. How to build the Docker file? What is the command? Docker build -t your container name. So I would like to go with the versioning. That's the reason, right? So SPA React v1. Once we run it, what will happen? Whatever command which you mentioned or whatever instruction which you mentioned in Docker file, those going to be executed. The copying and installing, everything will happen over here. You see, working directory setting into app. Okay, so copying package.json. Here we have one issue. So what is that issue? We just need a npm install, but I written as such as npm run install. That is one error. And another error, while starting the server, we got a problem. Why? Because I use a space here. Okay, so after resolving all of them, your server got started. And here we expose the 3000. Okay, from a React side. But in a UI or in your Docker container point, I would like to use a 8080. That's the reason I mentioned here 8080. Once we're done, our container got started. Okay, so once we start a container, we are able to see the application. Okay, that application which is built on top of node 14, not my local node. Okay, so then we discussed about how to commit. Okay, how to push into our Docker hub. Now, if you go and click on repositories, right, you will see one more repository called SP React. Okay, now you can directly clone this code and see, okay, how our SP React, a single page application work, which is on the top of node 14. Okay, without having a create React app in your local, okay, without having a Node.js also, you can run this code with the help of Docker. Okay, clear? Any questions so far?
Yeah, I have a question just for curiosity. The React spot, that folder, that directory, I see a source folder, the source folder. Can I know like the language that is used to build, like the code is using what language?
It's a purely JavaScript. We use this
Okay.
reactjs with a JavaScript.
So it can be any language, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? We're done with the session. Okay, so we are able to achieve what we are planned for. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can drop off. And we are planning multiple sessions further. Okay, to get to know more about the planning sessions, please join our WhatsApp group, whatever we mentioned here, and I'll share the documents, okay, and the PPT in that WhatsApp group. Good. Someone asking a question. Tell me.
Hello, sir. You give me my my question 5 minutes, or lastly I will tell. Doc.
You can tell, or you can ask if anyone has.
Sir, actually, yeah, sir. Actually, I already wrote the code. I have doubt on Docker file only. Just you see that one, right? Just I will share the screen, sir.
I think you might not have access. Okay.
Okay. Sir, in chat I will add, sir.
You can add, but let's hold on. Okay, let's see if anyone has any question. Are we good, guys? Okay, so thanks for joining. Okay, so to get a more updates, please join the group. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I had a small question in React. Like class component or functional component, which is the best idea in React?
Good to go with the functional components, not the class components. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Any other?
Thank you.
Okay, that's all then. So you can drop off. Okay, so to get an answer, someone, right? I'm stopping it, the recording because it's her question. Okay.
Sir,
Thanks,
just
guys.
wait, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I already pasted, sir.
Just a second. Let's stop all of them. Copy string, copy. Is admin team is there? Can you stop this live streaming? Live streaming.
Hello.
Don't see the option. Fine, you can tell me.
Sir, actually my question is, I got a task, means they are telling, suppose I have a table, sir, customer table. I take whatever attribute, customer name, customer ID, password, whatever is there. I will add some record, 5 records I added. So I did CRUD operation in Spring Boot, whatever I finished. After that, they are telling in Redis table, we have to give success and failure message. Okay, sir. After that, Spring Boot application finished, the Docker file need to be created for the program and Redis, and the candidate should be able to run it. So, sir, for that I will write this Docker file, sir. It's right, sir. That I want, sir, to know.
What you require is a complete setup, right? The Docker setup.
Yes, yes, sir. So first I install whatever today you told in my Windows, I will install Docker, right, sir?
Yes.
After that, I will create in STS. I wrote my Spring application program, Spring Boot project. Then there I write all code, whatever. Then I create a Docker file.
Then you're supposed to get a Docker file, and you need to add the steps. How do you do in your local? No? Similar way, you need to create a Docker file.
Yes. Sir, this Docker file where I will create means Visual Studio Code or in my STS?
You can get an STS also, no problem at all. So as we are from a UI people, right? We get it from a VS Code. Otherwise, you can go ahead with the STS also.
Okay. In STS, sir, I created this Docker file. Sir, in Docker file, I create form. However, you wrote Nginx. So here I create OpenJDK 11 JRE means I need Java first, right, sir?
Yes.
Sir, after that, just see it's this code is right, sir. Means whatever I need, sir. Sir, after that, I set JDK version. You are seeing, sir, second step. Set the working directory inside the container.
No, I don't see.
Sir, I sent in chat box, sir.
I don't get it.
PR, sir. Docker file use an appropriate base image. In chat box, I am sending, sir.
No. I don't see.
You are not seeing, sir?
I am unable to see.
Hello?
Yep, tell me. I am unable to see.
Sir, in chat box, you are not seeing meeting chat, sir.
No, I see thanks from someone and I shared this. I think you shared it to someone specific to someone. You just check.
No, sir. In chat box only Ashok IT direct message that
No,
one
no.
only.
You have to select Venkat
I type
hyphen.
a hi. I type a hi. Do you got a hi? Reply to it.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Sir.
WhatsApp group chat. You already. I shared it again. I'll share it again.
Sir, you got message?
Yep, I got it.
Okay, sir, I am sending again.